What is up,
I'm
draft
free
players
floating.
and tax players? My name is Fungal, 6'5" Venezuelan trillionaire, and today I'll be rating the LDL teams on worst to best. Joined me today, I have the two best draft players in the world. Say hello, Morpher and Vessel.
Hey,
Hi there.
it is I, the Gamble Maxer.
So,
It's I the. I should have come up with a nickname. I'll get back to you on that
The
one.
Drapion guy.
The Drapion guy. Let's go with that one.
starting off
We love
with our first
Drapion.
team. This is in fact Morpher's team here. So why don't you explain your thought process to us?
Hold on, I have a Twitter thread for this. I should have opened before coming here to record. No, but basically what I wanted was just to experiment with monks I didn't have the opportunity to check out last season, and then just went fuck it and added Mega Authority into the mix because I was running out of options. No, yeah, most of these mons are just mons that were either added this season or just, well, only one in the case of Tangrowth and Thurwig. But the rest of the teams are just, team members are just really solid mons on their own right, that they are fairly self-dependent, and just do a lot of things with them, especially Lopunny. Weevil doesn't have a lot of versatility, but like, Choice Band and Swords Dance is all it needs, really.
In terms of like speed, team versatility, you definitely have it. Like your typings are looking good. Like the roles you play on your team, Lopunny is a good like revenge killer. Weavile can be a setup sweeper or wall breaker. Then you have Mega Altaria, which can obviously be more defensive if it wants. It can be physical or special. In terms of like the main problems I'm seeing with your team, you're kind of weak to the what's it called? The bulky blanket physical check. Like those types of mods, like Aloe, like Corviknight, Buzzwole, those type of mods.
Yeah.
Definitely annoying for your
You don't
team.
really have any. You don't really have like a really strong special attacker outside of like maybe Specs, Rotom, Wash, or Iron Crown in some cases. So like a lot of your really strong stuff like Lopunny, Weavile, DD, Altaria kind of get hard walled by stuff like Corviknight with like Rocky Helmet and stuff. Same for like Skarmory and other stuff.
Yeah, I need to improvise a little bit on how I plan to break through a lot of those mons, but thankfully, I feel like a lot of these mons have tools to make up for it, namely status. I have a lot of status to spread with this team.
Rotom and
Like, it's
Altaria,
crazy the amount
definitely.
of turns I can just...
Like, Altaria could be
Then the
super
Grogan also,
annoying.
like, laid out.
Typhlosion also looks pretty good with this team, I think, just because it helps you break through those steals, which kind of make trouble for Weavile and Lopunny, like Corviknight, like Celesteela.
And the Ghost Weapon is really good for getting into a lot of stuff too, because there's quite a lot of fighting types over here, and there's also quite a fair bit of fire types. So like taking at least one hit could be good, and then it doesn't even have to rely on Eruption. It has a lot of fire type moves. Even if I wanted, I could like bring Burn up one week, because I don't know, just becoming pure Ghost would be funny.
It's definitely like the most reliable like Scarfer on your team, unless you want to pull a Silver and go Scarf Weavile for 8 weeks in a row. But yeah, like it definitely like helps you as a Scarfer to like beat a lot of like the really fast stuff we have in this league, stuff like Mega Beedrill. What else do we have? Like there's
Hisuian Electrode.
stuff like that. Hisuian Electrode.
Arambalian.
Ignore the Tangrowth.
I mean, not Arambalian.
Iron Bundle, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Speed Boost Ninjask.
I mean, you have lots of priority too. Fake Out Lopunny, Ice Shard, Weavile, on Non-Fan too. You can definitely deal with faster teams easier, I think.
Yeah, faster teams are not really that big of an issue, because a lot of my mons can also like switch their investment to go into a lot of bulk. So I can only like do the jump that is necessary in terms of speed, and then just go the rest in bulk and leave everything. That's one of the main things that sold me on Tangrowth and Rotom in particular.
Yeah.
Potentially Altaria and Iron Crown, you can just like EV them a little bit more, a little bit less, and they'll leave like quite a surprising amount of coverage moves that you wouldn't expect them to tank.
Only other like issue I'm seeing with your team is obviously Lopunny and Altaria are both not very good at all without their mega forms. Like Altaria is sometimes usable, but it's not great. Lopunny's basically terrible without mega.
I mean,
Dead
Lopunny,
weight,
or
yeah.
Altaria rather, can run like Fire Spin Perish Song shenanigans if it has to without its Mega. I mean, I don't know what Lopunny does. If you're fighting Zapdos, you can go Limber and non-Mega so you don't get static padded.
Before Mega
And
Evolving,
then
yeah.
not kill.
Yeah.
You can go Limber to not get staticked and then not kill with Triple Axle.
Speaking of Zapdos, kind of a big threat to this team.
Zapdos,
shit, yeah.
Corviknight, and a lot of like... I think your team struggles against like ground immune like physical walls because a lot of your strong stuff is like Mega Altaria will hit those like strong steals that like Weavile struggles to hit. And then Lopunny can also be kind of checked by those things. Especially, I think Corviknight and Zapdos are two big threats for this team, especially if they go like Fizz Def with something like Rocky Helmet, and then Zapdos has got Static, which just kind of shuts down a lot of this stuff.
Sure.
No, yeah, Zapdos is like a pretty big wall to this team, I would think. I mean,
Someone did draft Zapdos, right? Yeah, it's on Falula's team.
yeah, we'll get there when we get there, though. Weevil does kind of deal with it, though, and like, item versatility on that helps me in that matchup. Like, if I know Rain is not coming, I can just bring Protective Paths or some shit, because fuck it, there's no point in not abusing Weevil's ability to run like 50 items and doing them all well.
Next up, we do have Vessel's team. What's your thought process for this?
I mean, the original plan for this team was very much just I wanted to pick a couple of mons I liked using and see what I could do with them. Specifically, those two were Mega Garchomp and Drapion, which I just felt like using. So it started off with Mega Garchomp. Last season, I didn't get a great Fairy early. I ended up picking Prima, which is really good, but I went Tapu Fini this time. Misty Surge is really good, especially because my team has a lot of physical attackers.
Yeah,
So stopping stuff like Burn and Pada is really helpful. Silvally, admittedly, probably overpriced at 17 points.
Probably.
But, I mean, it is probably very overpriced at 17 points, but it is like the most versatile Pokemon in the league. It can run offensive sets, it can run support, it's balanced stats across the board, it can be any type, so it can cover up any weakness I really have. Corv was there for hazard removal. Corv was basically chosen specifically for my next pick, which was Mega Beedrill, because I realised I might want to run regular Garchomp over the Mega sometimes for hazards, rough skin, other items, stuff like that. So I wanted like a mon I could consistently Mega if I bring it, and that Beedrill fit that role perfectly, because I'm not going to bring regular Beedrill basically ever. Drapion is actually a really good mon. Like it's very versatile. It does a lot of damage. Like its 90 attack is pretty low, but with like sniper crits, it gets Swords Dance to set up. It's got good stabs and knockoff. It's surprisingly bulky. I don't remember, but it's got like 110 base defense, so it can actually take a variety of hits. It's got Toxic Spikes. It's got great typing in Poison Dark, so it only has one weakness to ground. And obviously it's a Toxic Spike absorber being a grounded poison, so it's really a mon that like can fit multiple roles and can do whatever I need it to do against one team. If a team's really weak to T-Spike, I can bring it as like a supportive mon, or I can bring it as like a setup sweeper. And also, it's surprisingly fast. Like base 95 is really fast for this thing that has like really well-rounded stats. Golem was a rock setter, another hazard remover because Mega B kind of desperately needs hazards. Galvanize Explosion is funny, which was another major reason for getting it. Trevenant, admittedly, probably the weakest link on this team, but I mean it does some stuff. 110 base attack isn't bad.
Gives you a second ground
Poltergeist is
resist.
strong. Yeah, it's a ground resist, which is good. Cause I keep making teams incredibly weak to Earthquake. I mean, it can do like Leech Seed Protect shenanigans. It can keep itself alive if it gets lucky with Harvest Citrus Berry. And then after that, it was kind of a situation where if I had points left over, and Iron Bundle kind of patched up some of the weaknesses I had in this team, that being that the team is admittedly very slow. Like, I have no mons above base 100 unless I don't Mega Garchomp. So Iron Bundle patched up the speed issue. Water Ice is fantastic typing, especially offensively. A lot of teams can just like not handle stuff like Freeze Dry Hydro Pump. It can get Flip Turn, it can outspeed a lot of Scarfers with boosted energy. And then there's Phantump, who will 6-0 someone, I promise.
Phantom's very good. I've seen it perform very well in lots of Natex leagues, even some Ubers leagues. Definitely has some great utility.
Yeah. I know I've got Trevenant there, but Phantom's arguably better, as with EV Elite, its bulk can be even worse.
Okay, I
Yeah,
definitely like your starting core of Garchomp, Feeny, and Corviknight. I think they synergize really well together. A lot of people like don't they shy away from drafting Feeny plus a strong dragon because they're like, oh, the Misty Terrain will weaken Scale Shot or whatever. But one, you're in control of the situation. You're the one with the Misty Surge Setter. You can play around it so that you know when the Misty Terrain will be up or not. But also Garchomp's a mon that the only way to punish it, I think, is getting that like toxic that will wisp on it. So Misty Surge definitely help with
the
that.
blocking status is really valuable for it.
And Corv is just an incredible mon. Could be like a bulk up sweeper, could be a pivot, could be defogger, could be a wall, anything you want with that thing. I think those also synergize really well with Beedrill. Iron Bundle too. Iron Bundle plus Beedrill makes a pretty scary like core with U-turn and flip turn. Both of these mons being strong, really fast revenge killers that could chip down the whole team.
Yeah,
Beedrill's
there's not much stuff in
chip.
this league that outspeeds Beedrill plus Bundle. Like, Beedrill outspeeds Pult, which is like a really important benchmark to hit. The only stuff that really does outrun it is like Scarfers, and then like Electro to Sui, regular Electrode, which is also here, and then basically you need priority otherwise. So it's actually really good that like both of them are very fast.
Bundle obviously really good at sort of picking apart more offensive teams with its insanely good coverage, Freeze Dry, Ice Beam, Hydro Pump, as long as you land that. It definitely help weaken teams for
Yeah, no, I'm
Beedrill
gonna
to
miss
super
every
late game.
Hydro Pump.
The only mon that I don't really like here is Silvally because I just don't like it in general. But
Yeah, no. It's definitely a weaker link, but I mean, it is supremely versatile. Like, if I ever have, like, one Pokemon that, like, matches up really well into my team and I need, like, a resistance to its stabs, I mean, Silvally can just fit that bill if I need it. And then, like, I can use it as, like, a Swords Dance Flame Charge Sweeper, or I can use it as, like, a supportive one. It gets Roar, it gets Defog. It actually gets some, like, really good supporting tools. And then, like, its stats aren't amazing. Base 95 across the board is not fantastic. But, I mean, like, it's a fairly fast mon with, like, sets up Toxic. It's got Pivoting and U-turn. And then, obviously, it can be a sweeper or, like, a support mon. I guess Parting Shot, even. So it actually can do a fair bit of stuff.
also, one around I don't think fits here particularly is Drapion, because you already have a very good Poison Beedrill. You don't particularly need that. But the main thing isn't that Drapion is bad, it's that your team, like Beedrill and Iron Bundle, really, really appreciate slow pivots like Corviknight, and that's really the only one you have. So seeing another mon like that, I think, would have been very helpful for those two mons in particular. You're kind of finicky to play with. Other than that, though, I think it's actually really strong.
The one weakness I see with this team is the fact that the speed tiers are kind of weird, where everything is below base 100, and then
You
you
just have two
Bundle
really
and,
fast mons.
Beedrill, who are both above 135. So, like,
Anything's-
yay, my two mons get to outspeed Mega Lopunny, and everything else underspeeds the rest of the league.
Yeah, anything between Bundle and Silvally getting, like, free EVs and, like, HP or whatever they want.
But then I can even run stuff like Scarf Drapion is not a bad option. Like, it can still deal decent damage with Poison Jab knockoff, so it can definitely patch up that hole if I need another speeder. And then
Feeny
obviously,
also.
like, Boosted Energy Bundle can outrun a lot of Scarfers.
Yeah. Feeny also a very good offensive mon. Lots of people
Feeny
just
can
think
be
it's
Scarfer,
defensive.
yeah.
But it also
Feeny,
has, like, pretty high special attack.
A lot of this team compared to my Season 0 team was a lot more, I don't want mons that do one thing, and I wanted a lot more versatility, so most of the mons here can do more than one thing. Garchomp can do multiple things, so can Feeny, Silvally, Drapion, Corv. Hell, even Bundle, it gets, like, some good support stuff with, like, I think it gets Fast Encore.
It gets Encore and Tots.
Gets Flip Turn for pivoting, yeah. Beedrill kind of only does one thing, and Golem does one thing, which is Click, Galvanize, Explosion, but, I mean, that counts as a slow pivot, right?
It's something. It has Volt Switch at least.
Does it learn Volt Switch?
It should. If it's another stun physics situation and it doesn't learn Volt Switch, I'm gonna be really sad.
Well, we're going to take advantage of that 55... It does learn Volt Switch. We can take advantage of that 55 base special attack.
Hey, you're taking advantage of that 55 base speed, not 45.
Exactly.
Okay, next up. It's mine. Well, I already explained this already. I started off with the Yancy because I wanted to give it a shot, even though I'm not too confident in that thing. I think personally it's a bit of a fraud. Next up, Excalibur and Melmetal, victims of the random mon generator. But they're
Yeah, but
both very
it's
strong.
like Diancie, Excalibur, and Melmetal is like a very good core. Like you've got a lot of stuff here. Like they're all fairly bulky. Like Diancie and Excalibur can both be fast, while Melmetal is very slow, very bulky. All of them are strong attackers.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can all serve multiple roles, and then you can even non-mega Diancie if you want to do something with that. I don't even know what non-mega would do.
I think Slowbro could very slow pivot for this team because all three of these mons
Mhm.
kind of like bulky wall breakers. And Slowbro
And
obviously
it
can
has
teleport in
teleport
those.
this.
Yeah.
It has teleport this because it's an deck, so like it's really good at that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
it's
like with
important.
Slowbro, Melmetal, Ursulina, Rabska, this team like almost becomes semi-Trick Room.
Yeah. I
Which is
definitely...
another team we'll get to later on that is
Yeah.
much more leaning into the Trick Room aesthetic, but this team is very semi-Trick Room, which is like not normally a good strategy in singles, but you can make it work.
I think it works a lot better in
I mean,
drafts. Because like anything that... My team was kind of slow to begin with. And I think rather than just scrambling for really fast mons, I'd rather try to punish anyone who tries to outspeed my whole team. So that if I want, I could run Trick Room with like Ursaluna, Pangoro. It's Pangoro, obviously the Urshifu single stab's very dangerous. And it even has Gunk Shot unlike Urshifu, so it can just blow up mons like Clefable that try to switch in.
Mm.
and
Multi
like
tier, same reason as
a lot of
Slowbro.
the stuff that's like base 70, base 60, you can like put a room service onto it for a one-time trick room sweep, and the other time that they are outside of the trick room, they just outspeed the rest of the stuff that they need to.
Choice
I
band
don't know.
Wheezing.
One thing that this team I think does really well is that your speed tiers are really varied. It's like 115, 110, 90, 70, 60, 50, 45, 30. Like you've got the full range of it, and like you don't have any super fast mons, but like you can probably run like Scarf Raikou and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
it's certainly something that can work.
Problem is I don't have great Scarfers, I think. Raikou can work, but it's not particularly strong. Bax can sometimes work, but it's like Rock's weak and stuff. The anti can't hold it. It has to run like Rock Polish if I want to boost its speed. So that's like another
Xenoblade
reason I
maybe,
went for
but
Trick
like
Room.
it gives a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things on this
one of the
team that
best
I
teams.
think. One of the things that on this team I think it is quite weak to is like apart from Mega Diancie, you're really weak to like a fast taunter, something like Iron Bundle, that like
Mhm.
just like can shut your Slowbro down from doing basically anything. Your Ursaluna can't set up. Melmetal doesn't really need to worry about it. Bax can't SD. Moltres can't do a lot of the stuff it wants to do. Like so, really, your only out to that is Magic Bounce Diancie, which if that's taken out, you've not mega'd yet. Something like that. After that, your team really struggles. Like, especially if you decide to run Trick Room, then like if your Slowbro gets taunted, then or your Rabska even, there's not much you can do past that point.
Yeah, a lot of my mons
And you
rely
just kind of
on
get
like,
outrun
setup
and killed.
to do lots of damage.
Mhm.
Like Ursula wants like SD or bulk up. Moltres wants to like
Excalibur
roost
wants
Will-O-Wisp.
DD.
Yeah.
Probably your best option for just pure damage is Banded Melmetal, which like yes is very strong, but it struggles into Rocky Helmet, it struggles into anything faster.
Yeah.
I mean its bulk is great, but like one strong hit probably will take it out. Like it is
pretty low
only
split up,
65
too.
special defense. Yeah, like its physical side is great, but like 65 base speed def means you're probably not taking strong like earth powers or flamethrowers really well.
Yeah, I'll have to run like AV if I want to deal with those, and then I can't like have the power of band. I can't have like Thunderwave or whatever. Overall, I think a solid team. Definitely not like one of the best here, but could definitely put in work if I needed to. I think it's fun.
Runs up well, yeah.
It's a very varied team. It does a lot of things. It can run Trick Room or it can go like much faster. It depends.
Next up, the first thing I see here is a Meganium.
Gaio
This
team.
is Gaio's team, which is probably not the most unique team we have from my perspective. Like I think we have stuff that does more unique stuff.
Are you
But
sure?
it is very. I mean, I
Are
think
you seeing the same roster I am?
I think Brendan and Trixie do some stuff that's slightly more creative, but it is still very interesting. The Meganium especially.
When
I
was
mean,
the
we did
Meganium
got
on
a
my
scam
screen?
here beginning, so like she just had to rebuild the entire team from scratch.
The thing I immediately noticed looking at this team is your speed tiers are really restrictive. Like everything's 100 or lower. Like your fastest mon is Iron Treads, and then you've got like two base 100s.
Nothing
And then
110 or higher.
from there it's like 90, 85, 83. Your slowest mon is Ursulina at 52, then Prima at 60, and everything above that is 80 and above. So you get really easily outrun by stuff like Beedrill, Bundle, Pult, Electrode, which can all afford to run like Modest or Adamant against this team, and then like even in Trick Room your team struggles because like your slowest mon is Ursulina, which will probably get outsped in Trick Room by a lot of the slower mons. So it's very much a team where the speed tiers are very tight together, and a lot of these mons don't work as choice scarfers. Like Lilligant gets Chlorophyll, which is probably your best speed option, especially with Megazard Y. But I mean, if you're bringing both Megazards, Hilligant doesn't really work if you bring X, and then it doesn't.
And Zard Y
work super
obviously
well as a
can't hold heat
Scarfer.
rock, so the sun won't be up as long for
Your
Logan.
sun's much more limited. So it's very much a team where it really struggles in the speed department, personally. And then there's obviously the thing that with both Zards, that this team type overlaps a lot. You've got two grass types in Meganium and Lilligant. You've got two ground types in Ursulina and Iron Treads. Quillfish is actually pretty good on this team. Poison Dark are both unique typings that like patch up a lot of these weaknesses. But like this seems pretty Stealth Rock weak, especially with the Zards, because if you bring the Megazard, you can't bring Boots. And if you've not Mega'd yet, your Zard's taking half when it switches in, and then you're gonna have to run Roost if you want to deal with that damage, or you can run Boots Zard, but then you don't get the massive power boost that the Megazard. Xurkitree is a Pokemon that would be really good, apart from the fact that it has base 83 speed. Like, it does so much damage, but it just doesn't have the opportunity to, because, like, it's so slow. And, like, 83 speed, 173 special attack is ridiculous, especially for the fact that this is Nat Dex and it gets Tail Glow. But, like, 83, 71, 71 defenses are just, like, not it for it. And, like, it's so slow. It's, like, it's not so slow, but
it's more suited for bulky teams for sure because of that lower speed and high special attack. It wants to be able to switch in more often on bulkier mons, keep throwing off attacks. But a team like this that's really sits up and sweeps, I don't think Xurkitree is the greatest here.
Xurkitree would be really good if you're running like a web set where like you can get like lower all your opponent's speed, get a tail glow off, and then just like blow stuff up with that ridiculous special attack stat. But on a team like this, where like this team does not have much in the way of hazard set, like you've got Deoxys Defense, which is a fantastic hazard setter, and you've got T-Spikes through Quillfish. But like
Quillfish is obviously Quillfish. It doesn't have too much longevity. It's not a mon that likes to switch in very often.
Treads, I think, is your only hazard removal here, right?
Yeah. Well, Charizard gets Defog, I guess, but it's not.
Oh, Charizard. Oh, so does Lilligant.
Okay, but yeah, those two mons aren't exactly mons that are gonna
exactly.
be really defogging.
They don't really have the bulk to come in consistently. So it's very much a team that like it struggles against hazards, especially with double Zard.
Yeah, T-Spike too, when your grounded poison is Quillfish, it's not like a mon that's gonna want to come very often.
But then you've got Charizard. Like there are like double Megazard does have certain things it can do. Like on Team Preview, when you don't know which Zard it is, that can be slightly irritating, and the fact that you have to prepare for both of them, but you're only going to have to deal with one, and you don't know which one you're going to deal with until it megas, that's one advantage. But the major disadvantage is that you've got two Charizards instead of a Charizard and another Mon. And like there were a lot of good like megas or just other Pokemon in the 15-16 range. A lot of them that didn't go, stuff like Mega Medicham and Ogerpon Wellspring, Volcarona, Raging Bolt, Gengar, that like probably would have fit this team better. So I don't know how well double Megazard is gonna work.
This also makes the team quite big to hazards at the very least. Like sure, Iron Threat is like the only reliable source to get them out. Otherwise, you gotta rely on Lilligant or Charizards.
Yeah, Treads is gonna be coming like 100% of the weeks, and I think that's pretty abusable.
It's very much a thing where like you pack a strong like ground or fire move, you blow Treads up like in the first few turns if they lead off with it to get hazards up, and then from there you just like stack Stealth Rocks and Spikes, and the team can't do much about it.
Run some sort of bait set like Scarf on Heatran to kill this thing really early.
And then like if you remove, even if they don't bring Quillfish, or you can remove Quillfish again with like said Scarfeatran to blow it up with Earth Power, and then you can just like bring in some poison type and get T-Spike up, and again, like that Ursulina Blood Moon, that Primarina, that Deoxys, Xurkitree and Meganium, like are all like slow and bulky mons, but like
Yeah, the
really
ones that hate
don't want to
poison.
take Toxic Spikes. Like the Zards don't really need to worry about it because they're flying until you Mega X Zard, and then it really doesn't want to be dealing with it. Helligant's so fast, it's not going to get enough turns where poison's really going to matter.
Could bring it down
But
to
a lot
like
of these-
priority range for mons like Weavile, like Ice Shard and stuff.
But the mons here like Meganium, Deoxys, Primarina, and Ursulina all really hate Toxic Poison. And
Yeah.
the fact that you can spread that with spikes or with like a strong toxic spreader that like this team doesn't really have a switch into if you remove Treads and Quillfish.
Mhm.
I think it's very much a team that like has very noticeable struggles in the speed department, in the hazards, and the status department. But it can probably do something. Like, I mean, you've got Sun through Megazord Y, and then Lilligant Hisui. What ability does Meganium get? Is it Chlorophyll?
No, it's like Leaf
No,
Guard.
Leaf Guard.
Oh, it's Leaf Guard. Which, hey,
Yeah.
that works in Sun. Can't toxic the Meganium anymore.
Yeah.
Oh no, the Meganium's
Trust me,
gonna
Meganium.
SD and sweep.
Swordsdance loaded dice, Billet Seed Meganium.
Hmm.
Doesn't it? I just imagine everything gets skill shot now. Let me check if it gets it actually.
I don't think so.
It
gets
does not
Earthquake,
get
though.
scale shot.
Bomber.
It gets Billet Seed Earthquake. Sword
Ring out.
Stance. You know what it can do? You
Almost
can run
clear.
Focus Sash Meganium with Endeavor to get one mon down to 1 HP and then not kill it because you have no priority moves.
The most useful Meganium has ever been.
It gets
Hey,
Solar
it can-
Blade though. Rust.
It can set manual grassy terrain to help your Ursulina out.
I like how Solar Blade will only be good for like 4 turns because Zard Y can't help that. Heat Rock, and
mean,
I'll
it
have to
can-
switch out to Meganium that turn.
It can
Oh,
run, like-
actually,
it can run like Toxic Synthesis, Protect, and then a Grass move to stall stuff out. But I mean, if you're having to do that, like you're probably
If
struggling.
you don't have something that switches into that set, I think your team is
Probably worse than that.
worse to begin with.
I mean at least Ursulina Blood Moon kinda appreciates Sun because it gets like 4 turns where it gets extra recovery from
No,
Moonlight
no,
and 4
Moonlight
turns.
gives you
Moonlight
less,
nerfs in
it's-
Sun. It's Morning Sun that gives more than Sun, and Ursulina does
No,
not
they
get
both- they
Morning
both
Sun.
get-
They do?
They both get 2/3
do?
on Sun. No, like they both give you 2/3 if it's sunny. Check it out.
I swear it was under a different weather condition that Moonlight that gave more.
And Mouse fell asleep.
Go into
Heals
the battle
the
with
user-
Moonlight and
Uh-oh.
check it out.
Heals the user by a
That's
weather
why-
dependent amount. Hold on.
That's literally what I did in
Um,
the last season. At sunny day with Ursulina Blood Moon so he could heal up more and prevent rain.
I like how Pokemon Database just does not tell me how the weather changes it.
Oh no, go into the
Oh,
chat room.
it's
Go into
specific.
battle.
During harsh sunlight, it restores half. Oh no, now it restores 2/3 in the new generation.
Yeah, that's what I told you.
Oh, interesting.
So,
I guess that's something.
yeah, it's
It,
like
it restores less HP in strong winds from Mega Rayquaza's Delta Stream. Which, you know what, Guile almost had Mega Rayquaza if not for the Wurmple. So if they had Mega Rayquaza, they probably wouldn't have drafted Ursulina.
rail.
The type of
Yeah,
synergy
this
we're
team's
looking
probably
for.
on the. This team's probably on the weaker end of all the teams we have.
So
Yeah, but
I-
it's still like a fun.
It still
game
can do
of it.
some stuff. Double Megazord is funny.
Now we
No,
got.
here we
oh,
have Lulu.
Now we
God.
get the fungal plague reference
And I think
here.
I think this is the best team in the
technology.
league.
Yeah.
Okay, so like Lulu's team,
It does something.
It does something.
What
it has
does, I'm
Kingambit,
not
which
exactly
only-
sure.
It's like some hybrid brain Trick Room team where you have a Trick Room option like Hatterene, Marowak, Dragalge, I guess.
Kingambit. And Kingambit.
Hmm.
And then you've got like a Rain Sweeper with Swampert and Palafin, and then you don't have a Rain Setter.
Yeah, the problem is she had a good
No,
brain setter. She
no.
had Slowbro Galar. which is pretty good with like
Does Fortress learn Rain Dance? Hold on.
with like
I think it does,
teleports
but
or rain
like it's
dance.
Fortress.
Yeah, Fortress is a
learns
lot
Rain
worse
Dance.
because its pivot move is Volt Switch.
Yeah.
So
Well, they drafted Slowbro Galar, and then they realized that Slowbro Galar does not learn Toxic Spikes, and they very quickly changed it for Dragalge.
Real?
Which I'd like to point out, Slowbro Galar was my suggestion, Dragalge was not. Marowak Alola is
Marowak's
okay.
very
It
strong.
does a lot of damage. It does a lot of damage with Rockhead, Flare Blitz, and Poltergeist. But
It's a really
it is very
fun
slow, and it's fairly frail.
Yeah.
It does work as an electric switch in for stuff like Palafin. With Lightning Rod. To boost that special attack it's not going to use.
I mean, Marowak, with the Thick Club, it basically has huge power, so its attack is insanely high at base 80. It doubles like the
It's
EVs
a very
and
strong
stuff.
attacker.
And
yeah,
Rockhead
one thing on this team
looks like
is
that's good.
the speed tiers are kind of crazy because you go 110, 105, 100, 70, and then 50 and below for the rest of the team. So it's a very slow team overall.
Not to mention, like,
gotta invest
Swampert
in luck.
non-Mega will be like 52, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Swampert's pretty slow.
Base Swampert is like 60.
Swampert is
base.
60. It's 60.
Yeah.
So it's very much a team on the slower end, which is kind of exploitable.
It does have like okay priority with like Jet Punch, Pincer, Aerialate, Quick Attack, and Sucker Punch from Gambit, but
Quick attack. Whereas our
it's
quick
boosted,
attacks are
okay?
good
It's boosted.
priority. give Pinsir extreme speed on guard.
No, shut the fuck up. That didn't go well last time.
So we did that in Rad Red.
They did that, yeah.
I mean, Dragalge is a decent utility mon. It gets Toxic Spikes as a grounded poison for T-Spike absorption. It can throw off a very strong Draco Meteor.
There's like every
Fortress
form
is a
of
good hazard setter. It's a good remover with rapid spin. Unfortunately, its pivot move is Volt Switch. Hatterene works as like a hazard blocker against Magic Bounce, and which can also block stuff like Taunt if it does want to go in a Trick Room setting.
Even with Hatterene and Fortress, I'm worried about this team versus Hazards, because like Marowak hates switching in Hazards, Dragalge hates it, Ogerpon loves it sturdy. Pinsir obviously explodes on contact.
Especially if once it's Mega.
Yeah.
Especially once it Megas. I mean, even Palafin doesn't really want to take hazard damage.
Yeah,
since
if you're like a
Wave
choice
Crash Recoil
Palafin.
is going to get to it. Yeah, Wave Crash Recoil is going to get to it. This team is very much a team where I think, like, if you've got, like, a couple of strong mons that have, like, moves that hit most of this team, like, Freeze Dry on something like Bundle or Curum kills most of this team immediately, with the exceptions of, like, Marowak and King Gambit, maybe.
The GOAT AV Dragalge.
How much does AV Dragalge take from Specs, Curum, Freeze Dry? That's a good question.
You don't want to know.
He'll take one. He'll take one.
If
Because
we go Dragalge...
Dragalge is like the one other Pokemon that like has high special defense and then nothing else.
He's one of those.
If we go a special defense boosting nature, you're taking 43 to 50% from Timid Curum, Specs Curum, Freeze Dry against Max AV Dragalge. So like I said, Freeze Dry kinda does really well into this team.
The other move that kinda ruins this team is Scald, because Dragalge is the only Pokemon that doesn't mind taking Scald burns.
Yeah,
everything else
apart from Dragalge and Hatterene, this team is also entirely physical attackers, which is important to know, and like none of them want to get burned, so like stuff like Fast Will-O-Wisp is really good into this team, except for maybe Marowak. But then even then, like Marowak doesn't want to get paralyzed or even toxic poisoned from T-Spike.
Can't hold boots too, which is a big downside for running Marowak.
Yeah, and it's also kind of weak to ground. Like the only switching is Pinsir Mega. The other thing you gotta do is just like give air balloons to everything or Sugar Berry.
Overall, I think offensively this is a pretty decent team. You'll need to finish games quick with this though, because this has no real longevity.
It does do a lot of, like,
stuff.
with Banded Palafin, you've got Knockoff Gambit since it's Nat Dex. Swampert Mega is obviously really good. Mega Pinsir, Ogerpon, Dragalge, and Hatterene throw off strong attacks. We've talked about how much damage Marowak does. It's very much a team that, like, it's gonna do a lot of damage, but it really can't take that damage in return. And if you've got one Mon that, like, switches into a lot of these moves, or can, like, outspeed and kill a lot of these Pokemon, it really struggles. Like, even on my team,
yeah, Dondozo's gonna go a little
Bundle
insane.
does a lot of this. Like, Bundle goes really well into this team, because even, like, Marowak and Kingambit, which takes Freeze Drive, will not want to take a Hydro Pump.
This thing's Moonblast switch ends too, basically non-existent. Dragalge might be able to take some, or Marowak sometimes. But still, no mod that really appreciates
strong fairies, strong ice types go really well into this team. It's very much a team that, like, it's gonna kill you if it gets its attacks off, but it doesn't really have the opportunity to get its attacks off.
Yeah.
Again, it's probably on the weaker end of all of the teams we've got here, but I think it's more so middling.
It also has Kingambit, which won the last league, so like...
We do have to... Okay, but that was in your hands.
Okay, yeah.
This is Lulu playing, and she will sack it immediately if given the opportunity.
True.
Unfortunately. For those who did not watch LDL Season 0, I will provide the context. Last season, Lulu ran a pure Scytherane team with Tapu Lele and Deoxys Speed, Blacephalon, a bunch of strong special attackers, and she proceeded to sack Tapu Lele at every opportunity she was given and lost her main win condition in Scytherane, which we all proceededly berated her for, so I'm guaranteed she will either not bring Rain Dance for her strong water types, or she will just sack the Kingambit.
The win con is something I always do too. I appreciate it.
It's a good strategy. Yeah, it gets in your opponent's head. If they think you don't need that, then you probably already won.
No, you wouldn't outspeed me in Okami.
I'm actually EV.
Nah, I'd win.
I'd win. Okay, now we have the next team here.
I hate this team. It doesn't have Clawitzer. This motherfucker Juicy was
notably does
begging.
not have Clawitzer.
This motherfucker Juicy was begging the entire month to add Clawitzer to Season 1. And
how did he draft like a 7x Trick Room team and then not bring Clawitzer? That's like it's the only reason. This is the only team to be good on.
Yeah, and he didn't bring Clawitzer, which is like his favorite mon. It's on the icon of his team. Look at this motherfucker.
He said he wanted it. He asked us specifically to put it in. We put it at 7 points, which was probably too expensive, but we felt like trolling. Like, it was very much like he was poised to take it, and then he grabs Hisuian Electrode instead, like a coward. Like, yeah, sure, it's a good mon, but okay, buddy. You've lost all respect. Speaking of, Hisuian Electrode is one of 3 mons on this team that I would consider good.
What do you mean by that? All the mons are good. Like, Mawile is really good, Cinderace is really good, Slowking, Gliscor, and Heligo.
Yeah, Slowking, yeah.
This team does have really good
I'd say they only have... They just have problems of synergy, yeah, because you can look at the type matchups. This week is very weak to Ice.
I mean, Nihilego is like really your only switch in.
I mean, Mawile takes it pretty easily.
Mawile takes a couple, but even then, pre-Mega Mawile does not have the greatest bulk.
Overall, this team is pretty good because it has really good special walls in like Slowking, Nihilego, good physical walls in like Gliscor, Delmise, Umbreon. And a lot of these could run mixed sets. They can try to do with the other side of the spectrum too. Obviously, Cinderace really good fast Wisp user. Could switch hazards to the other side, and this does have good hazard control anyway with Delmise, Gliscor. Gliscor obviously has some really good hazard setting potential too. Has all 3 hazards, I think. This team, the only issue I see, it might struggle to do a bit of damage, and Nihilego is not too hard to wall because of its unfortunate typing and doesn't get Earth Power. Mawile is obviously very slow.
Mawile does a lot of damage, but like your only real other source of damage is Komodo, who kind of needs like a Clangorous Soul turn to set up.
Yeah.
And then like Nihilego can snowball if it gets a Beast Boost.
Komodo and Swellow won't do any damage unless it gets set up.
Oh yeah, I don't know what Swellow really does on this team, honestly, apart from the fact that it's pretty fast. Like,
it feels like it and Electro do the same thing, and at that point, like, choose one or the other for your really fast, like, sort of special.
Like, Swellow doesn't, like, cover any of your other weaknesses. Like, you
Mhm.
already had a great ground type switching in Gliscor. Like, you're just compounding ice weaknesses at this point. You're compounding electric weaknesses, which you only really have one ground type to switch into. So, like, Slowking, Nihilego, Cinderace, Swellow, none of them really want to take a strong Thunderbolt or anything like that.
I think Swell Electro definitely overkill. You like choose one, for other one, grab something. A good Aiju is like, let's say a really strong special attacking water type, that runs really good choice spec sets. Might work well on Sugar, you know. Maybe it has like Mega Launcher to boost its like Dragon types attacks, like Dragon Pulse, so that could do good damage to Dragon type switch-ins, something like that. But overall, I think this is actually a really good team, at least defensively.
I think it's one of the better ones. I think it struggles to do damage in certain places, especially against
The only
like,
other
teams that can outspeed stuff like Mawile, but
yeah, I
It's very
mean
much
the only
limited,
other
like-
thing I. Sorry, Vessel, you first.
no, I was just gonna say like, I mean like Slowking can take hits and get out because it has Regenerator. I mean Umbreon can do like Wish Protect stalling or Pass Wish to other teammates. I mean Komodo really struggles to keep its health up, especially if it's taking recoil with Clangorous Soul, so that thing can get worn down pretty easily. This team doesn't really like hazards. It doesn't have great removal actually. I mean Swallow gets Defog, but I think that's about it actually in terms of hazard removal in this
No,
team.
Gliscor and
Oh,
Delmise.
Gliscor does.
Delmise too.
Delmise?
They all make
Cinderace.
a rapid spin.
Delmise gets Rapid Spin? I didn't even
Yeah.
know that. Huh.
I
Cinderace
told you
obviously
when we
quite
were
fast.
ranking Dolmite.
Finally, finally, Delmise does one thing.
It does a lot of damage.
Wait, I told you about it when we ranked Delmite on the scores. What are you talking about?
I completely forgot that, I'll be honest.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-dun.
Alright, you have some hazard removal, but again, like a lot of this team doesn't really want to be taking hazard trip, especially stuff like Como and Cinderace if you're not running boots.
And also, like, Nihilego is not the best grounded poison that you can get. Like, I tried it out last season for the playoffs. It was, like, good as a standout mon, but it's not really, like, durable to be a grounded poison.
It's a very
You just
matchup
take
dependent
counter.
mon, for sure.
Yep.
It really feels like a thing where like it's good as a poison type switch in, but if that poison type is like setting up spikes can hit it with like any strong ground move, it's gonna crumble immediately.
If it has Mud Slap, Nihilego isn't a great switch.
Must love bro. Didn't we
Someone should have
ban that
drafted
one?
Glamora and hardwalled the Nihilego.
Imagine.
So, oh my god.
Oh, I hate this
Silver,
podcast
Silver
thing.
Nugget.
Okay,
Silver
in
Nugget.
Silver's defense, this is like the first team of his that I look at, and I don't immediately want to end myself compared to his other teams.
Okay, but it's still really bad. It's still really bad. And not bad in the this team is a bad team sense. Bad in that this team is not going to be fun to play against sense.
Yeah.
Silver
As
never
in, I'm gonna
drafts
get
as one team to play
As
against.
in,
What are
I'm
you
gonna
talking
get
about?
100 turns into fighting this thing, and he's gonna keep switching between Toxapex and Ferrothorn, and I'm gonna want to kill myself by the
And again,
100 turn mark.
He only
You're
has
gonna
like
have to like
two honest
win every
Pokemon.
single week because you run out of time.
Like the only honest ones he has on his team yet again are like Ferrothorn and Tapu Lele. Everything else like does really annoying stuff all the time.
I don't think Tapu Lele counts as honest. This thing does too much damage with like Specs, Moonblast, and stuff.
Yeah, at least you know it's doing one thing and it's like not gonna annoy you too much. You know when you're gonna lose them onto it.
Like, okay, Latias Mega, stupid Mon. This thing does so much stuff. It's so versatile. It's really good. It can be a setup super. It can just do damage immediately. It can be bulky. Toxapex is Toxapex, Satan itself. Ferrothorn is basically the physical wall of this team, and then you've got Blissey down here, which is your special wall, and you can just keep pivoting between these two. Tapu Lele is the only mon here who's like actually an offensive Pokemon, other than maybe Latias in some situations.
Feeble
I mean, this thing does a lot of damage. Blissey is Blissey, and I mean like this core here of Ferrothorn, Toxapex, Blissey, like
Talon
only a
to
terrible
punish.
person would draft this.
Yeah. Talon to punish U-turn. Quagsire to punish setup sweepers. Try to deal with those. Minchao just is really
Mianshao is
annoying.
like a good pivot with Regenerator. It does decent damage. It can be like Scarfed or Banded.
It just kicks you in the face and then it leaves and it comes back and it kicks you in the face again. It makes me really upset.
Necrozma is kind of like
3 offensive
it's
cycles.
very versatile. it is a third offensive psychic, but like it can do multiple things. It can like sweep in multiple ways. It's got Dragon Dance. I think it gets Cam Mind. I think it gets Rock Polish,
Calm
Resist
Mind,
Speed as
Rock
well.
Polish.
Or Dragon Dance. Photon Geyser can be physical or special. Its stats are pretty balanced if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 97, 110, and 89 bulk is really.
It's 107 attack, 127 special attack, which are both like decent attacking stats, especially with setup. So it
And
can
then
probably
the
do a variety of things. And then there's Feeble.
Feeble's insane. What elaborate.
Unironically, what does Feeble even do?
It does nothing. Like, it actually does nothing.
Okay. And then there's Gorgeist, which is like the ghost type on this team, because Silver realized he didn't have a ghost type.
I mean, are we going to like gloss over the fact that this motherfucker? Look at the recovery moves page on this team. Just look at it.
Healing, it's just everything. Oh, he also gets Heal Mail Blissey because it's Natdex, which is like awesome.
I mean, same thing as aromatherapy, so like doesn't make a huge difference.
Yeah, like drafting Ferropex Blissey, like Silver, if you're watching this, like only a terrible person would draft these three Pokemon. Because you drafted this, you're a bad person, Silver.
We already knew that from his last
It's not
draft.
the issue that he drafted it.
And then you got Latias Mega as well. Like, come on, man.
This is the 4th time he does like Blizz specs, isn't it?
Okay, this team does have
Also,
a weakness. This team does have a weakness. Lulu's team destroys
Oh.
this. Marowak Alola.
Marowak, the one
Real.
athlete of this team. The three of us sitting in the mod chat with Lulu building the ultimate Silver counter team.
It 2
Just
KOs
so he
Quagsire
loses
with
one
Poltergeist. Toxapex 2. And like everything else that blows up with Flare Blitz.
For those of you who have not seen LDL Season 0, Silver's Season 0 team also featured Mega Latias, Toxapex, Ferrothorn, Blissey, and Quagsire. So about half of this team is returning from the last season, whereas
Most creative
I
draft
think
player.
every single other person did not draft a single Mon from their last team.
Also,
So,
worth
I've-
mentioning is that we kind of fucked up. Toxapex was supposed to be 12 points this season, but when
Toxapex
noting
was
it down,
supposed to be
somebody
12
left.
points, but we forgot.
Somebody
to do
made
that,
it
so
11.
Silver
7?
shouldn't have this team,
Oh no.
but unfortunately,
But
we
it
messed
wasn't
up, so.
It was a fault on our end, not on
Yeah,
his. So
no, it is our fault.
that
'Cause we
we
forgot to change the doc accordingly.
So we made Toxapex 11 points,
Yeah.
shaking and crying because of this, but like it's okay. It wasn't his fault.
Now every time we lose to this, we have to realize that we caused it.
It is his fault. Everyone
Actually,
else has
this
like
team does.
everyone else are like good people that wouldn't draft Toxapex and then there's Silver.
Next season, once this season ends in what 6 months' time, because we've got 17 weeks, because Lulu doesn't know what divisions are. Next season, we're the mods. We create the draft board. I am removing Toxapex, Ferrothorn, and Blissey from the draft board. They're just not going to be there. Probably Mega Latias.
Okay,
later.
Being fair
Mega
though, being
Latios,
fair,
not Mega Latias.
Silver only has 2 sources of default, and that's his only hazard control. So like rocks go crazy onto his team, just knock up a couple of times and he's done.
Oh, but this is like a boot spam team. When boots on Toxapex, boots on boots on Lele, boots on everything.
Tex doesn't even need
Yeah.
boots. It just like heals with Regenerator as it switches out.
Yeah.
Well, when it
so,
switches
like,
in
just-
on 3 layers of spikes, it doesn't really appreciate
Oh
it.
yeah, it
kind of-
takes what? It takes
25%.
37%. 37% if it's got rocks as well, and it heals 33 when it switches out. So you congratulations, from your 4 hazards, you got 6%
No,
damage.
you're completely nullifying the regenerator, which is like a big
Mm.
like selling point for this mod. Because it's really passive. Like Toxapex, if you have like
It
if you
gets
have sub
scald
or
back
whatever,
though.
then this thing
It
is
does get scald back because we're playing Nat deck, so can spread burns as well.
okay. We're using covert cloak.
This team
top
just
then.
sucks. This team just sucks. Like it's a good, like this is probably personally second or third best team in the whole league, but like I just don't want to fight this. I don't want to have to deal with this.
This is a pain in the
Kinda
ass. I
real.
agree.
But it is probably, I think it's top 3 teams. I'd personally put it at second.
Oh, wait, loses to Mega
But it is,
Diancie
like-
too.
Finally, a use for Mega Diancie. Nah, he's gonna put, nah, Gyroball Featherthorn 1v1s it, unfortunately.
No, Latias will literally live Moonblast and kill it with Iron Head or something, and I'm really upset.
Wait, this team also doesn't have a flying weakness. Do we have any good flying types on the league? Like any good
Tornado
flying types?
Stadion.
Okay, yeah. Lucas kinda just wins into this team, I guess.
Are there any other good flying types? Zapdos on Flail's team. Terraflying,
Which is
Terrablast, Landorus, Eye. Well, we
Power-
have banned Terra. Just so you know, we have banned Terra. Terra does not exist.
You should allow it for
Nor
Landorus.
does Teemo.
Yeah, no, there's not many good. Oh, Dual Wing beat Scyther on Zephyr's team. Ice
3
Frost,
Mega Altaria
yeah.
Hurricane.
Mega Altaria.
Hurricane.
Silvally flying with multi-attack. Okay.
Oh god.
The
Urshifu jump
XL
scare.
Rain team.
See, I'm looking at this and I don't know what to think. Because something just seems so janky.
Right, this team is like really good for the first 6 months, and then you get to Flygon and you're like, oh okay, and then you get to Lucario and it falls off a cliff.
Glacian, Ariados, or Arc.
Lucario, Glaceon, Ariados, Zoroark are all like, these are bad Pokemon. Like, even Lucario is not that great without its Mega.
The only time I
And,
see
like,
Glaceon put
fuck
in
is
work
this?
is when it's with Slowking Chili.
Flygon is decent, it's fast, it's got U-turn, it can set up with DD. Barraskewda, Pelipper, Arcalodon, Urshifu, Rapid Strike, Zapdos on Rain, kill yourself. But like, this sucks, I don't want to have to fight this. And then, Excadrill is not like a Rain Pokemon, but for like the first
It's not
two
bad here,
drafts,
but I don't like seeing it.
Look at Lucas, who got the last team, drafted Mega T-Tar immediately, and then Falilu's immediately next pick after they saw that they got Mega T-Tar was to grab Excadrill, because they just felt like not letting them have fun. Because like, Mega T-Tar was Lucas's second pick, and then Falilu's third was Excadrill.
I feel
was
like
it was
Skuda
on-site.
and Urshifu kind of like sort of fill the same role, like water type, really strong wall breaker. Obviously Urshifu's stronger and slower, but I don't like see many situations which you would ever bring both. No, I feel like it's a bit of wasted
Yeah,
points
yeah.
here. You could just choose one.
Well, I mean, Barraskewda gets a stronger pivot move in Flip Turn in Rain compared to Urshifu, which only gives U-turn. This team's speed is really interesting, where it's like a bunch of stuff above base 100, and then like 97, 90, 88, 85, and then 65, 65, 40. So it's a team that is like very concentrated on the 100 to 80 speed tier, and then you've got like 2 mons above that. Obviously, Barraskewda gets much faster in Rain thanks to Swift Swim.
Yeah, it's already as
And
fast as
then-
Mon though, which is it's only fast Mon. So like if you're Mon that speeds everything, it's just getting faster.
So it's very much a team where like this team is also very weak to freeze dry, notably.
Every
Like
rain team
Arch
is.
is maybe your one answer.
I've never seen a rain team.
Just
not
say
like
the
first
team is
try.
weak to Kyurem. God damn it.
Trixie has Kyurem. Kyurem goes crazy into this team.
Oh,
Real.
Lucario Goops.
Earth Power.
Nah, he get the weakness policy boost and SD, and then tweak with extreme speed.
Yeah, and then you die to Earth Power.
Nah, he'd be
After
back
the
split
first
up
one.
investment.
I'm pretty sure you still die to Specs Earth Power, I'm gonna be honest.
Nah, he'd live. Okay, what about
To be
Calm Minds?
honest,
Calm Minds, and
Skills.
then he goes for Calm Mind, he gets the split up boost, then he gets a weakness pulse, and then he swoops with Vacuum Wave.
real.
I think you're cooking too hard. Yeah. Like, a lot of this team is like, it's just like 5 good mons that work on Rain. Excadrill, which is like just a good mon in of itself. And like Flygon is decent and the last 4 are pretty bad. So
It feels like, at the
like,
beginning, it feels a
Ariados
bit like
does
standard rain.
nothing here other than T-Spike Absorb.
Oh yeah, Ariados is so bad. Oh, you don't
But,
even
like,
have like a
T-Spike's
ghost
not
type to block spin. So this thing isn't gonna be like
These spikes
getting
go
work with.
crazy.
This team is the kind of thing where like one electric type goes crazy into this team. Like
Any
Bolt Beam
electric type would
coverage,
better.
Bolt Beam coverage goes ridiculous into this team because you hit X-Gun, Flygon, which are like your one answers.
Thunderous, he has like the Weather Ball water loaded up to hit that extra.
Yeah. Nobody drafted either Thunderous, but yeah, he'll probably work.
I'm sure lots of electric types get Wither Ball. Yeah, here on Raikou, he gets like Surf.
The other thing
Yeah,
is
I
like
guess.
this team doesn't have a lot of hazard pressure. Like it only has X-Core Derail and Flygon to set up rocks, and then Aridos gets Sticky Webs and T-Spikes.
This team is gonna heavy crutch on Barraskewda and Zapdos, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Arch, but
this team, I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. Next up, oh my god.
Well, who do we have again? Oh, brother!
And this is Pick's team. So, again, for
Pikachu.
context, for those who did not watch LDL Season 0, Pick got second, lost to Millie, who's in the call right now, who is our
Hi.
Season 0 champion. Pick had a really good team last season. He had the best offensive core in the league. He had Landorus Incarnate, Chien-Pao, Mega Scizor. And this season, Landorus Incarnate and Mega Scizor both got point increases, and Chien-Pao got banned entirely, and Pick was... I think fuming would be an understatement.
Okay, Pick had the best team last time, I think, for sure, and like for this season too, I think he has one of the best, if not the best teams again.
This is one of the... I don't think this is the best team. There's a team later that I think like is the strongest team we have, but this is probably... I think this is third in my opinion.
Let me tell you,
Like,
I'm
Silver's
not
is second. This is
upset against
third.
losing to Vessel because for playoffs, because if I would have won against Pick, I would have definitely lost the rematch. Because the only time I won the first
Real?
time is because I cheesed him with Scarf Hydra and he sacked his Chien-Pao turn 1.
And I'll cope and say I only lost to Pick because I clicked that one outrage and then I got gooed by Sucker Punch. But no, my team was just bad that week.
I mean,
This
I guess
motherfucker big, bro. Now
wait, the -6
Dragapult.
fairy weakness. There's something, even though
So anyway,
Ting-Lu might as well
this-
be neutral to fairy because it's Ting-Lu.
Anyway, actually talking about the team, Dragapult is Dragapult. It's very good.
Dragapult,
Obviously,
extremely good.
Germanitan Galar does just so much damage.
Yeah. Great sweeper,
Um,
revenge killer, whatever you want with that thing. Wall breaker.
The only
Ting-Lu's
problem with
invincible.
the Armani thing is like
Tinglu
hazard.
does just live every hit.
Yeah. Gardevoir
Um,
Mega is just like a personal favorite
Gardevoir
one of mine.
does a fair bit of damage.
Good fairy
What do you mean a
option.
fair bit? This one is like almost as strong as Space Kyogre. Gardevoir
Really?
Mega has 165 special attack. Kyogre has 150. Damn.
Yeah.
No, but Gardevoir is like a personal favorite one of mine. I just never got a chance to use it because the Mega has like a decent speed tier, not a great one, a decent one. But it has like a lot of moves. It gets Aura Sphere,
It's very
Draining Keys.
versatile. Gardevoir pretty good.
Yeah, I love this one personally. I love it.
Typically, it's a bit outclassed by Mega Diancie, but it still has lots of things it can do that's really unique. Because Will Whips has lots of things that I can go for.
Destiny Bond, if you want to. Does it even get Encore? Oh, it doesn't. Oh yeah, it does. It does. It does. I don't know why would you use this for Encore, but like anyone with Encore is good. I think.
Two mons I don't really get on this team are Crota and Conk. Because this team already has like really strong offensive wall breaking potential with its mons like Gardevoir, Darm, Dragapult like status moves. And I think
Yeah, I'm
and I
not
think
sure
those
why
two are
Double
just
Down.
totally overkill, especially with more fairy weaknesses. Low kick's understandable because it's a good like offensive pivot and it has priority. Overcool too. But now you have 3 dark types and a fighting type in between them.
Mm-hmm.
But the Ting-Lu too, so
Yeah, just like Mega Altare just gets up on agility and fucking goes to town on this team.
Mm.
I'm
yeah,
going
fairy
to be
types
so
destroy
real.
this team. Even though it says in the type matchups this team isn't weak to fighting, you have to remember that there's Bayonet and Dreepy.
There is Bayonet and Dreepy.
And those
Neither of them are
Dreepy.
coming to any... This is not Mega Bayonet, this is just regular Bayonet.
these
And Mega Banet is
those don't
garbage
count.
too. I'm gonna be honest.
So in
This
terms
team's
of
speed-
fighting switch-ins, there's Mega Gardevoir and there's Dragapult.
There's like 4 Dark Stab mounts in here too. Like, I mean, Tinglu doesn't count because he barely uses Dark type moves, but like,
No,
Man.
Payback goes insane. 100 base power.
They should give Tinglu knockoff, honestly.
They should give
should
Ting-Lu
give
Ceaseless
Tinglu
Edge.
crazy.
No. This team's speed tiers are really weird, where you've got like Dragapult at 142, which is obviously very fast, and there's only a few things in this that outrun it. I think the only things are Mega Beedrill and the 2 Electrodes. And then you've got Gardevoir at 100, and everything else is below 100, so it's kind of like my team, where it's very slow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
The
like,
only-
most
the
of it's
other
like...
thing I see is, like, Tinglu and Dondoso are like very dedicated walls.
Yeah.
And the thing is, none of them have reliable recovery, unfortunately.
Like, Dozo gets taunted and then it can't rest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only
Tinglu
healing.
Tinglu only relies on leftovers for healing, so knockoff kind of goes stupid into this team.
Yeah.
Like, it's like it obviously does a lot of damage to Pult. You take off the Darmanitan's choice item, so it can either not do damage or it gets outsped. Tinglu loses its only source of healing. Crawdont loses whatever item Crawdont is running. Low-Kick's losing its band means it does no damage. Dozo losing its lefties. Low-Kicks is overpriced in this league, personally. It's at 11 points, which I think is too much. I think it should be 10 or 9, especially since we have no Terra.
Just to make it lower this season. It's just that nobody grabbed it last season. Oh, and wait, no. Didn't Grunkle
had it last season. And it did like nothing.
I mean, I don't think Grunkle's team like had the tools to actually use this thing too effectively last game.
This kind of does it, where like Tinglu, Dozo, and even like Conkeldurr work as really good walls that like Low-Kicks can pivot into, or like these things can tank a hit and then Low-Kicks can come in or whatever.
But
I
neither
just
of them
think
have
this
been
is so top heavy, and a lot of the mobs around the middle just don't make too much sense in this context.
I mean,
of design
Overqwil is
systems.
pretty good, but it doesn't do that much. Crawdont, it's okay. I mean, I don't really think you need the 4 dark types.
Yeah, this team really doesn't want
feel
to
like
lose the Gambit.
I think the objective of this team was just to counter team, what's it called? Size spam. One season too late to counter team size spam.
Yeah, we do have no size spam. Actually, do we have a size spam team? No, because Silver took Tapu Lele. And then
Silver
has
took
one Psychic Mon.
Thank
As
you,
we know, he has
Silver.
the Cosma. Expanding Force, Latias, and the Cosma are budget size spam.
Silver just has 4 psychic type mons, doesn't he?
Only 3, right?
Oh yeah, true.
Lele, Latias, and Necrozma.
I'll be disappointed if Pick doesn't annihilate Silver with his team.
This team does, I think, hard counter Silvers, notably.
Like, he's gonna click Boom Blast from Tapu Lele, and it's gonna do 30 to Tinglu, and he's gonna die to Heavy Slam.
Yeah, Tinglu, Dozo kind of sit on Silver's team, honestly. And just like... Silver's main win condition is probably, like, set up Necrozma, which gets eaten alive by Dozo. And then you've got, like, Latias, who can't really set up on Dozo. And then Tapu Lele, who I think just gets beaten entirely
Silver's
by
win
Tinglu.
con is kill Tinglu. Like, get this thing out of the way.
But even then, like...
Chao is the only one that can do
Pult
that.
with, like... Boots, status spreading Pult does really well into this team, especially with, like, T-Wave. Because, like, you can... Healbell's only 8 PP, right? So you can kind of exhaust that pretty
Silver's
quickly.
also, like, either forced to bring Talonflame, or just have a huge problem with low kicks.
Uh-huh.
Because the U-turns
Oh
from
yeah,
this thing
no,
are gonna
low
be a
kicks
threat.
also... The protective pads low kicks to not take the Iron Barbed chip from Ferrothorn. Trust me.
Real.
And then, like, even Crawdon, like, adaptability, Crabhammer, and Knockoff just kind of do a lot of damage to Silver's team.
Yeah, after an SP,
Silver's team
like,
is also
Crawdon
another
pulls
team
thing
that
up.
really struggles with Knockoff. He doesn't really have a good... does he even... Yeah, Mienshao and Thievul are his only dark resists. So his team kind of just gets knocked off and then can't really do much about, like, heavy hazard stack.
Overall, I think this is one of the
So
best
we're
teams
not just going
offensively.
to we're not going to be burning 5 minutes into like every team. We're going to be burning 5 minutes every other time we want to look back at Silver's team.
Yeah.
A lot of this draft league is really much just looking at each team and saying, do they beat
Do
Silver,
they beat
Pick,
Silver?
Grunkle, Brendan, and Naga? It's, do they beat Pick's team? No. Okay, do they beat Silver's team? No. Do they beat Naga's team? No. Do they beat Grunkle's team? No. Do they beat Vessel's team? No. That's how we judge how good they are. Oh, and Morphers.
It's not about beating my team, it's about beating me most of the time, I think.
Yeah. Give you the Ariados and the and the Eevee, and then you'll still win. SD Fellstinger Ariados trust. Anyway,
Imagine
the double
cannot
Landorus team, because
This team makes me
this
angry.
Is
First of all, you have two Landorus High, plural of Landorus. Then you have Heatran, he's cheap. Golden Go, he's cheap. Amok, he's also cheap. All with grassy terrain, just to make them even cheaper. And then you have Mr. Alucha, he's also cheap. Araquanid, he's fine, whatever. Sceptile, he's terrible. And then Eevee.
And then
Eevee.
The okay
Eevee
man.
won last season, by the way, so like, Eevee's
Eevee
trust.
won last season while coming to absolutely no games and having a 0-0 record.
Eevee was cheering the team on, he was in the sidelines.
So this team
Like
is... This team is Heatran, Golden Go, Muckalola with grassy terrain, and I think that in itself is bad enough. And then you factor in both Landoruses, and then this team gets worse somehow.
Yeah.
And not worse as in, like, this is still a good team.
He
But
somehow
it's also
made
one
two
of those,
Landoruses
like,
look pretty
Silver-style
good.
Teams. Like, unironically, the two Landoruses do a lot here. This is not one of those teams where it's, like, bad, but it's a team where I also don't want to fight this, much like Silver.
On the surface, it looks like it has to be super offensive, but with the grassy terrain, with like Golden Go Heatran, you can definitely run bulkier teams. And that
like,
plus Landorus Eye just like breaking through teams with its really high special attack. And the speed tier of Halucha.
Notably, we do have Form Claws on, so Grunkle can only bring one Landorus per match. But it's a really interesting situation where if he brings Landorus Eye, you know exactly what it's going to do. It's going to click Life Orb Earth Power and take 70% off of all your mons. So you can kind of prepare for it, but you still can't prepare for it because again it's going to do 70% to all your mons. Whereas Landorus T, if he brings that, it's much more a situation of it's not immediately as threatening because it can do max 50% to all your mons. But it has a lot more versatility in that it can be super offensive like with like Sword Stance or Choice Band, Choice Scarf, or it can be very defensive with like Rocky Helmet, the special set that's usually running like OU nowadays and stuff like that.
Remember
So
that
it's
thing
a situation of you have to prepare for both Landoruses, but you're only going to have to fight one, but even when you fight one, if he brings Lando T, you don't know what Lando you're fighting.
Yeah, and like, you gotta respect Landorus Variance damage output, because that bro has the same attack stat as Excalibur.
It's 145, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You could
So it's
definitely
very much a
also bring like
situation of-
the opposite set on each mod. Like you bring Combine Lando T, you could bring SD Lando I. And just totally throw you for a loop. That definitely be annoying too, with like leftovers to heal.
It's kind of the Megazard situation where like you don't really know what's coming when you see the Zard on Team Preview, but it's kind of a different situation to that where these mons are Landorus and not Charizard.
Yeah,
And
these
notably
mods are
that makes
good.
it much better. Notably these mons are actually good. So it's very much a situation
also
of you take your first 3 mons to prepare for all the Lando variants, and then you've got 3 mons to beat the rest of this team. And then the rest of this team is Heatran, Golden Go, Muckalola, Rillaboom, Holucha.
Yeah, the
Whoever has
onboarding
Great
goes
Tusk,
crazy.
they're eating good versus this team.
Oh no, the Great Tusk goes crazy into this team. You Rapid Spin,
Great-
Ice Spinner, and then destroy
Earthquake.
this.
Those 3 moves combined just...
Nah, Headlong Rush to not get Grassy Terrain nerfed.
Oh no, Ufio has Great Tusk, very cool.
Ufio does have Great Tusk. Unfortunately, it's Ufio, so he's still gonna manage to
Save
lose.
us, Ufio. Scarf
Also,
Lando I
like,
gonna come out
Landorus
to
and Card-
Psychic.
I think has a lot of potential for it. I was
Muckalola
going to-
is 11 compared to Drapion at 10, but personally I think Drapion's arguably the same, if not better than Muck, because like
No, I
Muck
disagree.
is... Really? Muck is
Yeah, I
much
think-
slower, it's not
But
that
it's
much
also-
bulkier.
It's a lot bulkier on the special side. It can
I
run
suppose it
assault
does a
base, it
better
gets-
special bulk.
I think switching into just blanket checking a lot of special attackers, like a lot of the strong psychic types that have like fairy or fighting coverage, they just the secondary poison type with that high speed F, Muck deals with those a lot better than the Drapion. Also, I think Drapion get gunk shot. I don't remember. So I
No,
think
it doesn't.
remember you had to run
Its
like
best
poison
move is
jab.
Poison jab. Yeah. But actually what you do is you run Scope Lens, Sniper Cross Poison, and you just always crit.
Another thing with Muck is it has a lot more like versatile moveset. Ice Punch compared to Ice Fang, Drapion. It has Haze. It has Memento, Pain Split.
Oh, I guess Haze? Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't even know it got Haze. Okay, no, this thing's considerably better than, yeah.
Shadow Sneak if you want to be
Mhm.
cheeky.
And then
Like
obviously gets
Bird.
knockoff, so it
It's
can just get rid of
explosion.
items.
What?
Explosion,
Hey,
yeah.
that's a Pokemon run and bunch strat, is to blow up your Muckalola.
No.
On the Mount Pyre tag battle, you blow up your Muck.
And then you don't have anything for Tabitha and Maxi on the
Uh-huh.
permanent Magma Storm.
Yeah, so this team has double Lando, it has Muck, it has Rillaboom for grassy terrain to be annoying, and then you've got double Steel and Heatran and Golden Go, and at this point you should be considering killing yourself if you're going up against this.
No! Sorry for that. Sorry for that.
And then you've got Halicha, who's just kind of cheap, and if he gets an Unburden off, you just kind of lose if you don't have a check
I
for
just
this
want-
thing.
I just want to see somebody trying to get up rocks onto Lake Halalucha, and Halalucha just looks anchors and sets up 6 ball cups. And you
Yeah.
just
Look
walk
on course. Alright.
Dick's gonna
and then
switch into
Arachne is
Dondozo
like-
and learn a hard lesson with the grass knot at Lucha.
Alright, so now we're done through the list. Does this team beat Silver?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You see the guy at the top?
Yeah, Landorus I Muckalola does kind of hard beat Silver.
He
Does
ran
this
too.
team beat Pick?
Does this team beat Naga? Kinda?
This team
I
beats Big
don't
as Golgo.
I don't think this team beats Naga, honestly. We'll get to Naga's team
Uh.
later, but Naga has a lot of stuff for all the stuff on this team. Especially that third mon on Naga's team, which kind of beats the Landos.
Oh,
Mhm.
hold on. I'm gonna go for a few seconds. I'll be right back. Drink some water.
Yeah,
this team
I mean,
very
Sceptile
scary.
on this team is pretty ass. This is
Sceptile's
probably,
the shitmon.
again, this is one of those top 5 teams. I think this is 4th place. I think Minor Morphers are debatably 5th. I think this is 4th.
Grunko always
Sil-
drafts really solid teams.
Silver is 3, Pick is 2, and then Nagas, which we'll get to later, is the best team in this league.
Okay.
Yeah, Sceptile doesn't do much, especially considering Shedtail is banned, so it actually does do nothing.
Yeah, you know, he'll with the grassy terrain boosted leaf blades, you know, he'll do like 11%
He'll
to
do
Corviknight
so much stuff.
after the SD. He'll fling his like light ball and paralyze something. You never know.
Yeah, definitely.
It won't be completely useless and redundant with Halucha, certainly.
And then Eevee's there for moral support. I can't wait for it to come to 0 out of 17 games.
Can't wait for it to win a second league.
Alright, this is Zephyr's team.
You know, I've
This
seen
team is very much a situation of the first 2 mons are great, and then it falls off in the middle, and then it gets way better at the end.
you know, I've seen the Blade get 11 kills in an Atex league before.
Yeah, I did realize we shouldn't have put the Blade at 4 points, and then Zephyr was like DMing me, like asking, okay, I've got like 4 points left over, what do I go for? And I look at the 4-point tier and I say, I mean, the answer is obvious. You always go to Blade. There's literally nothing else in that tier that comes even close to it in terms of how good it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this thing is really good. Scyther's okay. And then, like, this team's kind of a team where you work from the bottom up rather than from the top down. Like, the second half of this team is arguably better than the first half. And then there's Dracovish, who some teams in this league, notably Ufio's team, just don't have a Dracovish answer.
Mm-hmm.
As in, like, their only resists get to it KO'd by Fish's Rend. There are
It's
some
the
teams in
legendary
this-
wall breaker.
Lucas's team also doesn't really have a good answer outside of maybe Hydrapple. Like, some of these teams just like do not take Dracovish well. Garganackle is always annoying. With Salt Cure being just busted, it can curse setup, it can block to trap you. It's got
Yeah, just
recover,
work
it's got
for your
Earthquake,
thermal
Iron Defense
cover.
Body Press.
DD, what does it do?
It sets up terrain for Mega Latios, and that's about all it does.
Yeah, but it
Sorry.
doesn't, Latios isn't even.
Terrain.
But it doesn't even help Latios because it's flying. It's not grounded. So he's
that
gonna
how
get
it
sucker
works?
punched anyway.
Gravity Latios.
I don't think he gets that actually.
Hold on, I'm gonna check if it gets it.
I think
Uh,
Garganackle does.
No, Guard
Wait,
doesn't.
what am I saying? Gravity's gone. Oh no,
No, Gravity's in
Garganackle
the
gets
game.
gravity.
They brought it back. Guard gets it? Really?
Yeah, check it
He
out.
didn't get it earlier.
No,
Interesting.
He has
Latios does
gravity
not
now.
learn gravity, Jover.
But
Um,
Garganackle does.
Yeah, so you set up gravity, you're immune to sucker punch, and you boost the power to miss ball. Oh, it's not miss ball, it's slaughter purge.
Mm-hmm. There's an ogre.
Oh yeah, this
obviously very
thing
good
also
mods.
has like mega stats with now buffed Cluster Purge to be, what is it, 95 base power?
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually stronger than Psychic.
This
On,
thing
like,
is like
This thing's
budget
160
spec
special attack.
It's like
Yeah.
budget spec trackable in the way that it just hits hard with its single stab move. The only problem is that it has 8 uses of it, which is not ideal.
The speed tiers on this team are actually pretty good. You've got two 110s, a 105, 95, 90, and then just continually going down. So it's actually pretty decent.
The problem with these
The
two
only thing you're really
110s
lacking
is that
is a
they're both
super
locked in
fast one.
items. Like Latios has all
Uh-huh.
the Mega Stone, Ogrepon has all the mask, like the green mask.
I mean, you don't have to run Mega Latios.
You don't have to, but Latios,
Last
compared
season,
to Latios, I think it's a lot better to run the Mega Stone just because like it
Mhm.
makes like your GDAT sets actually good, makes your Combine sets better because it can't get knocked off. Stuff like that.
last
If you want to run
season,
Scarf, you can.
Ice Pro ran,
Yeah.
what was it? Last season, Ice Pro had Expert Belt D-Dan Space Latios.
Mhm.
Did it cook? I forget if it did.
It did not cook, it got one kill and then died.
I think it was versus me,
Damn.
wasn't it? It almost cooked. I was terrified of it.
Oh, I think it was against you, actually.
Yeah, I remember I was thinking, okay, if this has like Earthquake over, then I'm gooped. Or something. It didn't have something that it needed. All three of its attacking moves. But I don't know.
Ogrepon is very good. Again, it's kind of one of those monsters where it just like does damage, and a lot of it. It notably
Latios, I
does
like to
not
say
have.
it's like the special version of Mega Garchomp just because it just has really high both attacking stats. Pretty good speed.
Mhm.
It just sets up and sweeps all the time.
Ogrepon is kind of, it's slightly worse off in the fact that we don't have Terra, so it doesn't immediately get that +1 attack from Embody Aspect.
Mhm.
But it also, I mean, it can like set up with SD as Trailblaze to boost its speed. Mold Breaker's an amazing ability, which means it can beat stuff like Heatran on Grunkle's team. And then like this thing just throws off strong Ivy Cudgels, and there's not much that can take those well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pivoting on this team too, which can be used to like get Ogrepon in to deal massive amounts of damage.
Oh yeah, there's a lot
Ogrepon
of
has a really
pivots.
good move pool. It has like Play Rough, it has like Stomping Tantrum,
Superpower.
Knockoff.
Low Kick, Spikes, U-Turn.
Yeah, it's got Encore. So it's a fast Encore user. You can set it with SD, and then just like throw off Ivy Cudgel. It's got Power Whip or Wood Hammer if you want damage, and Horn Leech if you want healing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very versatile mon. For Alligator, it's a water type, which is usually good. And,
Alligator has like a big ass damage output because of sheer force life form and then just liquidation, but like it's
it can
not
set up
problem.
AD dance and then probably die.
Do like 80% to like Great Tusk or something.
it can almost kill a Great Tusk at +1.
I want to see how much.
And then
this
this thing
does.
just kind of doesn't have a switching to special fairies, which is a big issue.
Oh yeah, this team has like no fairy answer.
Double
Other than,
can
like-
take on physical fairies, but like all of the physical fairies can go special that we got here. Like Iron Body can just click Specs Moonblast and Double gets like 2-hit KO'd or freaking what a best.
There's a chance for Alligator can Oko Great Tusk after Stealth Rocks. A 12% chance.
Oh shit, for real?
Yeah.
For real?
Cleavor sets up Stealth Rocks on the first turn it's out, and then it probably dies.
Mm-hmm. Or clicks U-turn and dies to rocks later.
Yeah. I mean, this thing is not amazing. Bug Rock is pretty bad typing. Stone Axe is only 95% accurate, so you're gonna miss every time you want to hit. It does okay damage with X Scissor.
Good
It's
CC.
kind of just like worse Hammer Rock because you only get to click Stone Axe once compared to Cecil Sledge thrice, and like still get value.
I mean, it's a pretty accurate
Polygon-
rock move, so I think that's decent enough, especially since
It's a
strong.
pretty accurate Morrock move, which is the best we're gonna get.
I
never
don't
really
really
got
like
100%.
Porygon Z with this team. I think it's again like overkill. You're getting another super offensive bond with this offensive team.
It's kind of outclassed by Latios in terms of the big special attacker that just does a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
and then it like kind of doesn't really have the speed to make it work, which Latios does. So it kind of has to run Scarf, and if you run Scarf, you're losing out on the damage you get from Specs. But like Specs adaptability or download is gonna do so much damage if you get a special attack boost off a download. Like this thing with like Tri Attack, Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam.
I'm noticing that this
Um,
team is very weak to Golden.
Yeah, Porygon gets Nasty Plot if you want to set up further, and then you can even run stuff like Conversion Shadow Ball to turn yourself into a Ghost type.
Conversion is probably the biggest selling point it would have if steam moves were allowed. I mean,
Yeah,
because
is
like,
Conversion
you
an
can
Omnibus
use
or is it just
yeah, Omnibus.
yeah? If we had Z moves, Porygon would be really good with Z Conversion.
Probably like an 11.
Yeah, but otherwise it kind of struggles to do much, especially considering you've got Latios here. Iron Hands is certainly something.
I think Iron Hand's a pretty good
Hey.
hit. It could like slow pivot with Volt Switch. There's a good knock switch in for
It's
this
very
team.
bulky. It can come in. It can come in and take a lot of hits that stuff like Ogerpon don't want to take. Same with Porygon.
The only problem is
Electrifighting's
it's like
pretty
it's
decent.
another physical like sort of wall that's weak to ground. It's kind of like Garg.
Yeah, this team also, apart from Latios, this team kind of hard loses to strong ground types. Like, Great Tusk does pretty well into this team if it's faster than Dracovish. Stuff like Garchomp does well into this team.
Any Pokemon that can
Ursaluna Bloodmoon. Ursaluna Bloodmoon especially does really well into this team.
The only issue is like, I mean, with Ursaluna Bloodmoon is that it doesn't have the chances to fire up that many attacks. I tried it against Naga, and it didn't quite work, but it did like 100% at Dragonite. So like,
I mean, like with like Hyper Voice and Earth Power, it's gonna chunk a lot of this team for big damage.
Especially
like,
with like
probably-
Ogerpon has to step on rocks instead of boots.
Yeah, but Dracovish I think does just Oko Bloodmoon with Fish's Friend if it's faster, which it should be because it's
We're
75
bringing
base
that
speed.
that water resist berry, the Pasho berry.
Yeah,
This
no,
team
the biggest apart from the Mega Latios, which is obviously a Mega Latios, the biggest thing on this team for me is the fact that Dracovish is here, and some of these teams just do not have a Dracovish answer. As I said earlier, Uthio's team has 2 water resists in Starmie and Rolling Moon, both of whom get 2 at KO'd.
Wugtura doesn't exist. Wait, Wugtura uses Gooey, and then just Dracovish doesn't have Scarf for like a single turn before it switches out.
Well, the one time Luxio, it can final gambit and do 10%.
Well, Roaring Moon isn't actually to a KO'd, right? Because it switches in and then it's faster than it could roost.
I mean, if you get a roost off, yeah, but then you just kind of like knock off. But if it's like banded or something, then it's gonna chunk you heavily.
I mean, if he wants to go for Dragon Mist,
look
then
at
that's
it
fine.
right now. The only Pokemon that can like semi-take on Dracovish are like Tangrowth,
Evafini
Ferrothorn,
takes it on pretty well. So does
Tapu Fini, yeah. Where is
Um,
Primarina? Primarina kinda takes it on well, somewhat. Kinda. Maybe.
Primarina can kind of take it if you go heavy into Fizz Def. Gastrodon takes it on.
I got Slowbro loaded up.
You got Slowbro on your...
Zero has Rotom-Mo, who can probably take 1 Fish's Rend through a quad resist and take 90%.
No, Rotomo eats, he's the goat.
I want to find out how much damage Rotom-Mo takes.
He gets 2 KO'd.
No, the Citrus Berry comes in clutch. Citrus Berry clutch, trust me.
If the Dracovish is slower, Fish's Rend does 31%.
On the switch in.
On the switch in, if it's banded, Fish's Rend does 47 to 56%. Oh no, that's 85 base power, hold on. We've got to make Dracovish faster, hold on.
Put that there.
Never mind, it's doing 95 to 112 on the switch in if it's banded. That's Jolly, by the way, not Adamant.
Go to Mo.
Adamant does minimum 104. Which, fun fact, Ice Fang does 106, so you're actually better clicking Ice Fang.
It's just that Fish's Friend is the... what's it called? The serotonin. Why would you
Yeah.
ever click another move?
Vicious Round is the move that you like when you see on Showdown where Dracovish jump towards your opponent and you see them minus 100% and their health bar disappear.
I like
And
And then you see
that's
the
just a
minus
little-
99 on Zapdos. You see
And
minus
then you get
99 on...
and then you get static powered by Zapdos and I discharge the turn after.
Now there's no recovering from that.
Those are more
Dracovish is the
EVs.
Pokemon where if you get to throw off big Vicious Rounds, it's just fun to do. And then you run into something like Zapdos or Ferrothorn that just like, oh yeah, notably Dracovish does lose to Ferrothorn, so another win for Silver.
No!
Dracovish loses to Quagsire too, he has Water Absorb.
Oh, and Gastrodon with Storm Drain. Okay, this team is Ice Bros team.
Clefable lead, bro. What is
This
this?
team is very much a situation of this team starts off great and then it falls off hard.
Yeah, when we get to
Kinda
the
looks
Crobat,
so-
things are already looking a little suspicious.
These first 5 mons are great, and then you get Rotom Heat who's like, oh okay. And then you get Crobat who's like, I mean he's okay, but Ice Bro had him last season, and they did really well with Crobat last season. And then you get Electrode, Cresselia, Toucanen as like a 1-2-3 punch. And it's
Okay,
just
but
like, oh, look at this team
Wake
fell off a
on
cliff.
Walking Wake on the weatherless team is crazy. Like I see it on sun, I see it on rain, I've seen it on snow.
See,
what-
but here's the thing.
what's-
Walking Weight can now. Here's the thing. Walking Weight can now counter the weather teams that we have in this draft league, and by the weather teams we have in this draft league, we have exactly one, and it's Lucas running sand. So Walking Weight is to do no damn. There's no rain and there's no sun in this league.
Hello, has rain though.
Actually, no. There's Megazord Y. Okay, there's a sun team.
And it's like, do you
And there's
really
a
want to
rain
be
team.
running like
Oh,
rain
no, there
dance
is a rain
electrode,
team.
like
I
sunny day
completely forgot.
room?
Phileo has Pelipper and stuff. Okay. So there is a rain team and there's half a sun team. And then a full sand team. So you've got rain, sand, and half sun. For Walking Weight to do something. So 3 out of 17 matches, this thing's pulling its weight. Actually, wait, no, it'll do less on sand. Okay, 1.5 out of 17 matches, this thing's doing so much work.
This team kinda loses to Silver because it doesn't have a lot of like psychic switchings that I can see.
Millie, every team loses to Silver. Oh,
No, not me.
Aw.
I'd win.
I'd win too, to be honest. But like, yeah, Annihilape is just the biggest centerpiece of this team. You want to take Annihilape out in 2 hits, or it's going to steamroll your entire ship. It's going to take out like 2 or 3 of your mons that are really important, and then you have nothing else to do, and you just lose to the mon in the back. That's how I won the last league, actually. Annihilape just kind of broke everything in its way, and then just King Gambit cleaned up later, or Altaria did.
This team
The
for sure, I
thing
think
here is
Annihilate the cleaning up for like weakening mods for Cortana to clean up definitely could be very viable.
Yeah,
I'll
because
be back in a few
Cortana
minutes, sorry.
Okay, take your time. Cortana is like really fast, stupidly strong. It just does a lot of things, and with another hit, a lot of things could be pushed into the edge, and then just beast boost, beast boost, beast boost. Oh, the magic's over.
He has 181 attack. Imagine Cortana got coverage.
Imagine, bro. Ah. And then it also kind of like has. I mean, the sources of. Oh wait, wrong dog. My bad. I was going to say the sources of hazards are like not bad. Globestar gets all the 3 big ones that you would want: Stealth Rock spikes and Toxic spikes.
Mhm.
Lafayette gets Stealth Rock if you want to like put that in.
Yeah.
And I like with Stealth Rock, but like it never runs it. I know from experience. You
Decent
got like
enough.
4 defoggers.
I feel like none
You
of them
got
are
4
good though.
defoggers.
Like Crobat, not a very good mod. Cortana doesn't like running defog. Rotom Heat has
No,
kind of move slot syndrome. He wants to run other moves, and 2 cannons, 2 cannon.
You have 4 defog mons, and none of them are better than Silvally for running defog. I don't know. It's just that none of these mons want to run defog for giving up something important, except Toucanen, because like, what does Toucanen realistically do to you?
He goes for Beak
Realistically.
Blast. And then this is
And it burns you on contact.
Mhm. I don't know what
This thing has
Cresselia
like
does, other than beating Silver, I guess.
I mean, like, Cresselia is mostly a trick room mon from what I can see, and just general support. It gets Calm Mind, Ice Beam, the kind of stuff that you would want on a supportive mon that can set up.
It'll be like an annoying setup, so we probably suppose for late game maybe. Something is dead.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's just that Spite Ups just landed on the server. I'm so sorry to like cut the video for this, but like Spite Ups just fucking landed on the server. Okay, that is all. Why is he here?
Why is he here? Give him mod so he can join the PC.
Okay, okay, you got it, you got it. I can give people mod. Watch this. Okay, now I'm doing it before Lulu looks at it into his name and why is he purple? No, okay, for real, no. God damn it. There's an awful lot of recovery moves in this team because I forget like half of the Gen 1 mons get refresh.
Yeah, refresh varies with move. Although I think it's a pretty decent team, honestly, even if it's a bit top heavy, like you have that many options.
Yeah. And then the thing
The priority is horrible. Look at the mods that get priority.
Annihilate Vacuum Wave.
Well,
I think that's it.
sorry, I'm back.
No. Annihilate doesn't get vacuum wave, Cortana does.
No way, bro. I don't get Sucker Punch? No fucking way. No fucking way. Hold on, I need to check this out.
Like, all of the priority moves are contrarian.
Oh my god, Electro gets Sucker Punch.
Yeah, I don't know, this seems pretty solid in general.
Yeah, like, Waffle just does a lot of things. You never know what he's going to do each match.
Next up,
Oh, Zero Team.
Iron Boulder.
Oh,
Iron
this
Boulder
team,
facts.
was the team that delayed us the most. This team took so long to draft.
He was thinking really hard.
Like, I spent 20 minutes to pick Diggersby.
Diggersby or Ikoria.
Okay, obviously the fastest one here, the fastest team here. You have Tapu Koko, plus you have 3 Quark Drive speed boost guys. Or
Once again,
Ikorio
this
setup
is a
super.
team where the first few mons are really good, and then you've got Diggersby or Ikorio at the end.
Okay, Diggersby is crazy.
Diggersby goes
Lie.
He's actually really good.
I don't
Okay,
know.
he gives his team one, a good like Shadow Ball switch that's not Iron Jugulis. 2, he gives it a ground type. 3, it's actually really strong. It has like spikes. Even if like you switch the Corbin, get up a spike on that, you could like taunt, and then you could just troll with this stupid mon. And if you don't have a good switch into it, it's just gonna click huge power Earthquake with a Choice Scarf a million times. And it's stronger than Azumbril, I think.
It's 56 base attack instead of 54.
Oh, it was crazy. He even gets his own little priority with Quick Attack instead of Aqua Jet.
And of Mega Scizor plus Tapu Koko and a bunch of Quark Drive mons is really good.
Metagross is like decent. He got a lot of moves. The only problem is that we took out its Mega, so it's kind of like naked now.
Yeah, no, I rip Mega Gross. He carried me.
Yeah, he looks like he's just gonna be a lead like Hazard set boom guy.
Yeah, no, he blows up in this one. This team he blows up on.
Lacking a bunch of defensive utility, but obviously makes up for that because this team is just so terrifying to like deal with defensively. Like Iron
Do you
Mod, super
remember
annoying,
Grungle's
Coco
team
are
last
annoying.
season?
Yeah.
You remember Grungle's team that it was like Tapu Koko and Quark Drive bodies that didn't really need the terrain? And now this is just Take 2, but with Scizor Mega and Iron Boulder.
No, Iron Mod just got
From
Meteor
Big
Beam, so now he can run Quark Speed with the Lactic Terrain, and he can also run the power of Meteor Beam.
He already could last season, I think.
Yeah, no, he could. I think Grunkle used it once.
Oh.
He used a Meteor Beam Iron Jugulis and missed the 90 accurate move into Zapdos and got paralyzed.
Oh, Jugulis is certainly a Pokemon that it's always almost so good, and then it just fails you.
It's the almost Pokemon, bro. You know the name of potential
Rotom
man?
Mo does something.
Rotom does
It's a
nothing. I
Rotom
disagree.
appliance. It's a Rotom appliance. It surely has something to do, right? Right?
It's
what
to
does
round. That's what
Rotom
it
do?
does.
What moves does this thing learn?
Oh,
It
Will-O-Wisp,
Oh,
it
the
can set up
same as Rotom
screens.
Wash.
It learns light screen and reflect.
Surely Tapu
It
Koko
learns
isn't better
Shrek.
at that.
It can Will-O-Wisp.
Mm,
It learns Sucker Punch to use on its base 65 attack stat.
that'll
This thing can do
KO.
so much.
What's this mon that's 4x weak to dark that also has terrible defense?
Suicune gets extreme speed? No fucking way.
Yeah, all three legendary beasts got extreme speed. It was an event in Gen 4. It's why Entei got good in VGC. Entei was
Oh.
garbage before it got E-speed, but now it's just arguably worse Dragonite, actually.
Oh, you can't even use like
There's a lot
these
of
transfer
ability
moves
on this
now,
game,
right?
Too. Like, look at it.
No, you still can.
Really?
The beasts still get extreme speed. I think they're just part of their learn set now.
I think his team is very
One
good.
thing I
Definitely top
don't
5.
like. One thing I don't really approve of this team is like, okay, I made the same mistake myself, but like the hazard pressure on this team is non-existent. Stealth Rock, Metagross, Spikes, Tiger Speed, Toxic Spikes are enough.
This team also
Like, I'm-
loses quite hard to hazards. Like
This
a
team
lot of
has
these ones
struggled with those
don't want
for
to
sure.
switch in. This team does not want to switch in on hazards, and like you don't really want to have to run boots on everything. Like Jugulus and Moth, even Tapu Koko don't really want to keep coming in on Stealth Rocks.
Yeah. Your defoggers are also kind of bad.
Oricorio, obviously.
Rotomo is like not a
Oricorio's
great
quad weak.
defogger. Oricorio, Tapu Koko, Mega Scizor, not the greatest defoggers. They get rid of their terrain too if you're running that.
Mm-hmm.
No spinner. Hazard Whip is super annoying.
I forgot Defog gets rid of terrain. That's actually really helpful against Zero.
Mhm.
It means
it's
you don't
also a
have to
team
run-
that loses very hard to the Trick Room teams we have, because the slowest mon is Metagross at 70, so teams like Fungal and Brendan both do really well into this with their Trick Room styles.
I would like to say do well
Yeah.
to this, but that stupid Scizor is going to definitely be the end of
There,
me.
there is also Mega Scizor though, so Diancie doesn't do much.
Fucking
there.
Mantis that I hate.
Pretty sure this team does also lose to Silver, unfortunately.
Yo, I
because,
got Moltres
Tapu Lele
specific
Psychic
to
Oh,
versus
loses.
Scizor.
damn it, man.
This team also loses to Silver.
Does
Oh,
it
does
lose
he have
to
an
Naga?
Iron Boulder switch in? I don't know if Silver has an Iron Boulder switch
Yeah,
in.
I think it does lose to Naga.
Further kinda owns Iron Boulder. It takes
How
like
does
one
this
close
team-
combat.
Millie, how does this team beat Zygarde?
It doesn't.
Scizor?
How
Scizor
does this
beats it.
team beat
I mean,
Zygarde?
you don't beat Zygarde actually. You just kind of like try and hope that it scares you.
I mean, you run Curse Scizor, you get your little defense boost, your attack boost, then you 1v1 that thing because you have recovery and it doesn't.
I mean,
Oh,
the
do you?
Zygarde glares, subs on you, starts coiling up,
No,
boosting its
I
own
win.
defenses.
This made me realize how many 4 teams don't have an Ice type, and that's because Ice type is the least represented type
Suicune
on the
beats it too,
entire
right?
series.
Because you have pressure, you
I think
have like
Suicune is your
sub.
one Zygarde answer on this team, unfortunately. So yeah, it does lose to Naga, and it loses to Silver. Overall,
Does it
Zero's
lose
is
to-
pretty good though.
It's pretty good, yeah. I like it.
Ifio's team, ooh, this team was very bad, and then Gracie changed a bunch of the mons, and it became much better.
Team has a high concentration of reptiles and dinosaurs.
I think that's just Ifio.
By the 9 and past Paradox Pokemon. Tyrantrum is a past Paradox. Well, not a past Paradox, but like, it's a
All of
man
the
of the
fossils
old.
basically are.
Yeah, it's a man of the old times.
I mean, Rolling Moon's obviously pretty good, right? And pretty good, I
Register was
mean, very good.
Yeah.
Great Tusk is very versatile. It does a bunch of different things.
What bothers me is all of his threatening mons are physical.
Oh yeah, this team has like no special.
It's
Like
like
Inaris,
Skeletor's and
Ian
Enam, I
Starmie.
guess. But
Oh, the scale
his
there, I
magic.
guess.
like those three aren't the most threatening mods compared to the rest of what he has.
This team gets eaten for
I
breakfast by
mean-
Tapu Fini. Like unironically, Tapu Fini 1v6 is 6-0 this entire team.
Starmie gets Thunderbolt, so like Analytic Life Orb kinda like coops that shit.
No.
Analytic
I'm,
Trigger-
I'm sure Skeledirge takes under half from like Surf.
Hey, but it can't burn it. It won't do any damage with torch song.
It would goop. It would yawn. Then you go to sleep after like 5 turns.
Misty terrain.
Yeah, well, he'll still have the terrain with all 5 of his slack offs.
I mean,
Okay,
this
but
team's pretty
consider that-
decent. The speed tiers on this team is very fast. And by very, although I will admit, very fast does include Wug Trio in these speed tiers, so it's maybe not as fast as we think.
Well, Trio's insane,
Walter
okay?
is kinda yeah.
We
Yes,
do have to
Gooey.
acknowledge that this 120 speed basically doesn't exist.
I mean, Roaring Moon's still insanely fast, RB2, and then Aerodactyls.
Mega
Electrode.
Aerodactyl.
Electrode if
And
you missed all
Radlet-
his moves.
Aerodactyl's also a Mega that can potentially not go Mega. Like, you can run, like, Sash Lead Aerodactyl with rocks and stuff, fast taunt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He
It's
gets
less
fast
useful
on.
than... Yeah, it does get taunt. There's like 130
gets-
base speed, I think.
He also
with
gets
Sash taunt
roar. I don't
rocks.
know.
I like how they
Yeah.
gave it Tough Claws, but gave it like one Tough Claws boosted move that I can use, like the
It
Wing.
notably doesn't learn Rock Head, or Head Smash rather.
Mhm.
This man is kinda fucked up.
Yeah,
They
it
should have
gets Tough
gotten, like-
Claws, it doesn't learn Headlong Rush. It doesn't learn Head Smash.
Shut up! You play too much Radical Red.
And by
It's
full too
Dragon
much
Tech.
Radical Red, Millie means looked at the red decks for about 5 minutes.
Dual Wing Beat. He gets Dual Wing Beat Dragon Dance. That's more than enough. It's like the best.
Okay, this thing is never
Why
setting up a
can't-
Dragon Dance. Look at its defenses.
You can like reasonably put a bit of HP into this because he has 150 base speed.
I
Yes,
would
another
rather
need
Iron
that.
Bundle, Mega Beedrill, Dragapult, and Barraskewda in this league.
Plus, unless you're using Clone Claws, this thing is gonna miss every single one of its moves because it has its only
True.
accurate move is like Earthquake.
True.
So super annoying.
Nah,
hard to
he
deal
hit
with,
them
but
all.
This is a super annoying.
Now
mod
the
to
only
use,
problem
too.
is that
This team is actually, like, I mean, this team is pretty varied speed tiers. You're kind of missing that, like, 95 range is the only one. But then you've got, like, several ones above 100 and several ones below 100. Registeel and Enamorous teaming, you don't immediately lose to Trick Room.
Fluttermane would destroy this team. We should allow that.
I think Fluttermane destroys most of the teams in this league for me. just a guess.
maybe.
also
Alright.
Reggie still kind of goes hard. Like just
Registeel
saying.
does go hard.
They kind of like overlap
did
with
go hard
Skarmory
in
though, like
short
ID
game.
Sweeper, Hazard Setter.
This team is pretty decent. It's not the best team here, but it is decent. The best team is the next team.
My mouse died. Hold on. There we go. It likes to go to sleep.
And I set up the perfect transition and it gets delayed. Anyway, this is Naga's team. Personally, this is the best team in the league.
I like
So
the last
true.
one a
And
lot.
that doesn't include Carnivine. I like to clarify this
Hey,
does not include
hey,
Carnivine when I say
leave
best team in the
Carnivine
league.
alone. Okay, what did he do to you?
Be garbage.
He's great. Listen, I killed a Garbodor with that mon once. I know it switched into me and like I killed it with like a few knockoffs after it was like 20 HP, but this mon's great. You know, like, I stun sported Volcarona with it. Volcarona switched in, I stun sported it, and then I said, "Let's go Carnivine, you put in work."
So true.
Gallade
Anyway,
obviously
so this
insane.
team has, like,
Aegislash also insanely good mon. Zygarde
this
very
team has
useful.
Zygarde complete 50. This thing is so stupid. This thing is 15 points. It should be so much more. Like, this thing
This
is
mon, like,
just kind of stupid.
it has a very good move pool and stuff like that, but its stats are honestly extremely bad for like a legendary Pokemon.
I mean, base 100 attack is lacking, but when you've got like Coil and D-Dance in terms of setup, like
You've got pretty bad speed, pretty bad attack. Your defenses are decent, but they aren't like out the roof.
I mean, 95 speed isn't terrible for what it wants to do. It makes it fairly competent as D-Dance Sweeper, or it can go slow with Coil and like set up its defenses more.
I wish it got
They
its
can run like
taunt,
Glare
because it's, like-
substitute stuff.
Because without taunt, it's forced to like run sub a lot of the time, or else it's just
Mhm.
gonna get destroyed by status.
And then obviously Thousand Arrows is like one of the best offensive moves in the game.
And then like you're forced
The
to
amount
either,
of courage
if you run both
is
setup
great.
moves, then you're gonna only run 1,000 arrows, and that means like a sort of bulky
Mhm.
grass type can do with this. It has its checks, but super annoying to face for sure with Claire and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Tail too.
Terrapagos is surprisingly good. For not being able to Terra, obviously that makes it considerably worse. But it is still very good, and probably too cheap, honestly. 12 points is probably too little for this, especially considering how much stuff it can do. It's rapid spin, it gets rock polish, can Cam Mine set up, Terra Starstorm is a stupid move.
Important to note though, this is one of their only 2 hazard removal on hazard
Yeah,
removals
this team
on the team.
does lack hazard removal. It's only Terrapagos and Weezing.
Meow, very good speed tier, very good revenge killer, good scarfer, good bander, good pivot. It can do whatever it wants. Hazard setter too sometimes, because the team doesn't have great hazard setting.
This team does have decent pivoting. Masquerade's got U-turn, Alomomola with flip turn, and then Glade Mega even gets teleport if you need that.
It's like an option because Galate Mega is just like it gets so many moves, and then the Mega form just gives it a jumping speed that it really appreciates. The only thing it's missing out on is a good ability.
An actual ability.
Yeah, Inner Focus only blocks Intimidate, and like that's good for Lando T, but Something's on the same team as
everyone, every Mega Lopunny user always forgets about this. Yeah, they fake it out and then they die. They die to close combat and get angry that they forgot about it.
That's gonna be Melee when she fights Naga.
No. I would never forget about Inner Focus. Trust me.
He says, not realizing she is exactly going to forget about it.
Naga's gonna forget about Scrappy and go into Aegis
Okay,
Flash.
buddy. Who's the Mega Lopunny? What about it?
Masquerade also gets T-Spike, notably, so it can set those up too.
He gets standard spikes too, so like, it probably wants to and then just leave Weezing the T-Spike.
Duraludon's really only here as like a rock setter.
Because the Terrapagos wants to run spin.
Blacephalon is like a good speed tier at 107.
So I think it'd be good late game cleaner, late game sweeper, whatever you want. That Mon. Yeah, this is probably definitely one of the best teams here. Very versatile, super strong Mons. I'm gonna be a pain to deal with both offensively and defensively.
Yeah, personally, I think just with this just Aegis Slash, Gallade, Zygarde, Terrapagos, this team for me is the scariest team. This is the best team in the league, personally. I feel like it's the only team where I don't see like one major weakness.
The only one you could say
that kind of cripples this.
Hypothetical. It kind of loses to Ice type Pokemon, but like
the weakness to Ursaluna, perchance.
Now, here's the important thing to acknowledge, is that we keep talking about Pokemon that are weak to ice typing, which is like all well and good when we've got stuff like Kyurem in this league, but the only thing you do also need to acknowledge is the fact that Kyurem is being used by Trixie.
Okay, but I can Weavile.
Trixie's the GOAT.
Trixie is the GOAT. But they don't use conventional sets in the common sense.
Okay, bro.
I'm sorry, it wasn't about this. It wasn't about this. It's Bezel noticed it.
Hold on.
Fight Ups moment. We just got the recording to like have 10 minutes to laugh at Fight Ups getting timeouted for an hour.
I don't want him to talk anymore. Move on teams.
Okay, you have to go to the next sheet for this one. The iron deficiency one.
Oh yeah, iron deficiency. Brendan's team. I have a lot of respect.
Slow King Val. Obviously very good start. But after that I don't see like that much synergy, I think.
So this team is, and like I've talked to Brendan about how they were building this. This team, they are actually trying to run Trick Room with this team. And it's evolved past that. They originally had like Marowak Alola and stuff on this. But
they're trying to run Trick Room. They have no monster. They have no monster offensive in Trick Room other than like nasty.
Aggron Mega Aggron.
No way, that mod has like 110 attack. That is not like a. They can't hold choice
body press.
Okay, bro. This is not.
Okay, buddy.
It's got 230 base defense body press.
It is like the opposite of the Trick Room team.
Yeah, I mean, I still kind of respect Brendan a lot as a player because, like,
no, they're very good.
He kicked my ass in what's it called, the Suspect Cup from the other one, the Shitmon Cup from Man.
No, I lost him in Suspect today.
Nah, I won. I think I did anyway. I don't remember if I won
Yeah,
against them.
you won and then fought Albrecht and then got fucking destroyed.
I lost to Albert twice.
We don't talk about that part
I
because
mean, the
then
first time was a
Albrecht
fluke.
proceeded-
The second time was a real loss.
Yeah, for real. We don't talk about that though because the league after the championship after and kinda just beat the shit out of Albrecht, but we don't talk about that.
Mhm.
Anyways, back to the team itself. Like
I don't like Rotom
What
Everyone's
Ghost.
really good.
the mons are really good. It's just a matter of getting them in. I feel
The
like,
synergy,
because-
the synergy isn't amazing here. The speed tiers are kind of lacking because you've only got 2 mons above 100.
Then again, the disruption potential goes crazy in this. What is this?
Double normal is interesting. It's been pretty weak to like close combat. It's like anything with like CC plus knockoff coverage kind of destroys this team in general.
I mean,
At least
Val
with
takes
James
that
Val.
really well.
But Val is like
Bangalore.
Val is kind of skinny. I'll say that.
It's more skinny on the special side than anything.
I mean, Aggron takes CCs, I guess. But obviously not like your best switch into it.
It probably takes like 20 from the average CC, but like from an 100 and something attack mon, if it's like, I don't know, if it was like a neutral hit from stuff that's really, really strong.
I've used
Then, yeah,
Cyclozar
that
on
would
like
be,
4 different types of teams, and I have to say this mon is shit.
You used it last season, didn't you?
Yeah, I've used it on
For, like, a
Rain, Balance, Hyper Offense, and a sort of like really bulky team. It was not useful on any of those teams.
Yeah, it does notably not have Cyclozar doesn't have Shed Tail here, so and I lack that.
It like switches in and you think it's gonna be bulkier with the generator, and then like your max BF AB and you still die in one hit.
I think
What
it
are
was
you
hilarious
switching
when
into?
you had it in season 0 against me. I think it was so funny how you like pivoted out of, I think it was Regality, went into this thing against Metagross. Metagross proceeded to Mega, click unboosted Heavy Slam, and Oko the Cyclozar.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'll take one and I'll be able to get some chip, and then it died in one hit. Like, come on, man. You have to be that bad.
Okay, but also the hazard removal on this team. Where is it?
It's just a
just kinda
stupid,
see Rotom
just a dumb bike.
Just the bike. Just the bike. Also, apart from the fact that you've got Gloking, T-Spikes go crazy. Especially
Go-
against stuff like Wochen, Gastrodon.
Go King one of the
Wochin
more
is
annoying
kinda
ones
like
to deal with, though.
making a base here. Wochin was, I mean, we were kind of robbing Brendan by offering Wochin into the table.
Yeah.
Roy's like 8.
Orchen is fine, but I think with this team that already, like, you're gonna want to run, like, Volturn versus this team a lot, I think. And Wochen isn't exactly an answer to U-turn.
I
think a
mean,
lot
we
of
talked
fast
about this
pivots.
with Vessel earlier. Like every team has a good U-turner. At least
Every single
has
team has a good U-turner.
Wochin is going to be taking 30% for existing.
Also, not a mod that appreciates hazards, and this team pretty hazard weak. I don't know, I think, excluding like the last few mods, it's a pretty solid team. It has a few weaknesses, but has decent offensive potential, has decent defensive mods. Could definitely put it work.
It's a very bulky team.
Probably beat Silver.
Probably beats. I don't think anyone beats
Prob-
Silver except Naga.
One is
Yeah, I'd beat Silver, to be honest. Oh, Trixie. So like,
how much
Vessel
speed does one
described his
person
team
need?
best. Hold on, let me like run it down for you. In order that she got these months from, it's pretty good. Little guy, actual fucking demon. This is Satan. Kyurem is fucking Satan. I'm gonna keep saying this until I fucking die. Annoying fucking Spike Setter. This motherfucker that just is faster than everything, except Regilaki, which is not. Nobody took Regilaki this time. Little guy, Nightmare,
Notably,
whatever Vaporeon does.
I would like to point out that Ultraviolet is in fact 0 points, and was supposed to just be there along with stuff like Phantom and Turtwig that you saw earlier, and Eevee and Dreepy. that were just like little mascots for certain teams, and they were all drafted last, as you can expect, except for Trixie, who got Oshawa on her 7th pick.
Based.
Real.
Real hater energy.
To be honest.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Lulu's, but Trixie felt like being a hater. Anyway, this team is a bunch of like decent mons, and then there's also Kyurem, Deoxyspeed, Samurott, Isui.
Yeah, it's like, how much speed does one person need though? What is this? Like 180, 160, 130, 113? Come on.
This team arguably has the highest speed, like average speed, in the whole thing.
Trixie doesn't
The
even
slowest
need
one is
one
Vaporeon
pick.
at 65.
Average is 106, including the Oshawott. Like,
This team hard loses to Brendan if he leads into Trick Room. Especially because this team doesn't have a mega aggron answer.
removing the Oshawott, 112 average.
Uninvested Deoxys speed is faster than, what's it called? What's a free 81 mon? Aron Boulder. Well, it's uninvested faster than Aron Boulder. So you can imagine it kind of just doesn't need to run speed investment at all.
Yeah.
In any match, you can just run max attack, max special attack, and then just something else. You can
As
maximize
much
your
bulk
damage
as
out.
it takes to like live some hits. Or speed type run certain Scarfers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this money is insane.
Like Deoxys speed's really good. Kyurem's obviously Kyurem. Samurott Hisui provides you really good hazards. Delphox is surprisingly good with like Scarfer specs. Like Fire Blast and Psychic are good stabs.
Speaking of
Jones
hazards,
really fast.
though,
It can
this team has 2 defoggers, and I'll let you figure out which ones those are.
Is it? I know one of them's Ninjask. What's the other
And the
one?
other is
Oh, the other one's Superior. Oh.
Yeah,
Okay, so this
Ninjask
team-
and Superior.
Also, notably, no grounded poison. This team loses hard if you have T-Spikes.
Yeah.
You know, it just doesn't like hazards. A lot of the mons here are
Yeah.
weak to rock. You're going to
Oh
be
yeah,
one
there's
to
also Kyurem, Delphox, Ceruledge, Victini, all of whom don't want it. And Ninjask just dies if Stealth Rocks are up.
Like, everything here is just gets annihilated by any sort of pebbles that hit the field.
Yeah, I mean this team's decent. It's
It only has
considerably better than Trixie Season 1 team, or Season 0 rather.
This is
No,
like
no, that team like
Trixie's,
Kildeo. Kildeo's insane.
Yeah, but this team is.
You
Kyurem.
remember Kieran from the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC?
You know, the guy with the Toxapex hair.
Yeah, and now she's got Kyurem instead of the ogre.
Next season, Trixie's gonna have Kyurem Ferropex.
Oh no, becoming silver.
Become the true villain of the series.
Trixie
Silver
becomes
doesn't get
Silver Nugget.
Ferropex next season. I'm banning if he takes it.
You should make a
It's
rule
gonna-
where you can't take a same mod 2 seasons in a row just to fuck with silver.
No, if the message in the drafting chat pops up from Silver saying Toxapex or Ferrothorn, the immediate next message is going to be exclamation point ban Silver Nugget.
You can set up a bot to do that. Whenever silver like
And it's like-
mentions those mods, we get instant ahead.
Yeah. And then there's only one more team, right?
Yeah.
Lucas is right.
Oh yeah, Lucas.
Yeah. So this is the Sand team.
Mhm.
The Nightmare Blonde rotation team, because I don't want to look at that Nidoking ever again.
What do you mean?
If you saw the PowerPoint, you know, well, the Google
It was normal in
sheets
the.
actually.
It was normal sheets.
To a
So
freak
anyway.
like you,
I'm not
freaky sheets are just normal sheets.
To someone like Fungo. Freaky.
Someone just commented on my last video, what the fuck is on my screen? The one where I put the ADHD inducing stuff.
Yeah, I did like the Valorant gameplay and the Subway servers.
You should include my Pizza Tower gameplay next time, brother. That shit is free to download.
Alright, send it over. I'll add one more thing to the screen.
So this team has like a half sand mode with T-Tar, Dracazolt Stoutland, Empoleon Nidoking, and then you've got like Torn T, Hydraffle, Screamtail, who just, I mean, they're there.
I think this is a pretty good
Really
This
team.
team
like
is
it.
good. This team is pretty
I
good.
like-
It's one of the better ones.
Like, you have really good speed, you
I
have
like
good
the figures
offensive
here.
potential like Dracozolt with Tauros, Torn, Nidoking. Good pivoting defensive boss, Empoleon, Screamtail, Hydra. Again, Torn can be anything you want, offensive or defensive. These in general really good, I think.
I like the speed tiers because none of them are equal, even though that the jump is 1-9, 1-10, 1-11. Like that, you just go to jump Screamtail and that's it.
Like the
Just to
speed
mess
tiers
with Iron Moth.
are okay here, but then you've also got like Dracozolt and Stoutland both get Sand Rush, so they're considerably faster here.
Yeah. Stoutland also gets it, but the thing is, Stoutland has to decide between Scrappy on one matchup and then Sandrush on the other. You're never using Intimidate, I don't think.
What's Stellan's like attack stats? 110.
The only thing that
decent.
this team looks kind of, yeah. The only thing is that this team is kind of weak to ground, but like Tauros Ball. Oh no, yeah, Tauros. That's the Blaze Palea Tauros. I thought it was the other. But yeah, no, it's kind of weak to ground. Like sure, Tornado Stick can cover that up a lot. Hydrapo too, kinda, but like
Draco Goat.
ground type.
Draco Goat dropping those Dracos.
Didn't you make a thread on how Dracos would solve sand in quarantine?
Oh yeah, like a few months ago. No, more than a few months ago, like beginning of Gen 9, everyone was always like, oh my god, T-Tar would be OU if Excadrill was back. And I couldn't have any of that. It just, there's no way that fraud would be good with
Excadrill. And then
Excadrill.
Excadrill came back, and T-Tar is still RU, I believe.
Like,
Draco
Ball just seemed like it'd be a lot better into the meta at the time. I don't know about now since Gliscor is unbanned again, but...
Yeah, it just drops a Draco and does like 40% and then you reflect on your life choices.
Well, back then Gliscor was banned, so... Good
Yeah.
times.
Oh, I miss those. I actually don't like Gen 9, to be honest. TBH. You look at the amount of priority here though, and like... Oh shit, I forgot the Rand got first impression. That's a lot. That's a pretty big buff, I guess.
I mean, the priority moves are a bit interesting. I'll say that. I don't think Hydrapple's using Sucker Punch very often.
Wave. Empoleon Vacuum Wave though. That's the hit.
It's got a bunch of good like status utility moves. Taunt on a lot of things like Roar Encore. I think it's a very balanced, very good team.
Yeah, I really like this team personally.
Obviously, Sand is super annoying to play against because it just keeps doing 6% to you every turn.
Yeah, unless you got like Overcoat or your own Sand Chip immune Pokemon.
Yeah. Hey, outro time. If you like the video, be sure to subscribe. And I will be posting my games for this every week. Probably not a weekly review like I did last season where I go over every game because there's just a lot more players this time. Maybe I'll do something like that though, who knows. But stay classy, stay cool, and don't be a fool.